Hello and welcome to another wonderful night of Mahjong here at the ARML. It's why does everyone else keep getting Uradura and I don't Wednesday, and I'm joined tonight by Edwin. How you doing, Edwin?
I'm doing all right, but it's what would you do Wednesday? Although, why does everybody keep on getting Urador? I could see I could see there being a case made sometimes.
I mean, it's certainly sometimes you just get stuck in those ruts where it feels like every time you deal in, somebody's just going to flip the Richinomi Urasan that's going to kill you. But tonight, I'm sure we're going to see some very well put together hands as we've got a really good table that we're going to be starting at here with Vincent, Andrew, Andre, and Pio. Vincent has been teetering back and forth between A2 and A1 kind of the whole time ARML has been going, and the other three players are all in currently the promotion range. It's early in the season, but they've started off strong. They're not all going to be able to stay there, though.
And this is one of those cases where you have probably some familiarity at the table, as three of the players here are from Richinomi, New York. So they might have had some familiarity playing with each other. The only one that's not is Andrew, who's part of La Palma on the West Coast, and he's definitely had a good run, not just in the past couple seasons. So.
Well, and Andrew's playstyle, I feel, is fairly well known, at least in the ARML Discord, because Andrew's very active in what would you do discussion. So I feel like everyone kind of coming in on equal footing as far as knowing what's going on with the other players here.
I imagine this to be a very tough matchup. Pio is one of those people that I kind of describe as, in a nice way, annoying to play against.
Why do you say that?
Just as general playstyle. It's not. I wouldn't. I don't. It's not standard. And there are a lot of traps that he sets that. I mean, even though I'm aware of them, like there have been a couple of times. Well, it's like this is probably still going to deal in, but maybe this one time it won't, and then it does. And I'm just like, you knew this, Edwin. Just stop it.
That is what makes a well-placed trap so beautiful, though, because you almost can't help but walk into it sometimes. And we're going to start behind Pio here, so maybe we'll see those right out of the gate.
It's just more of the fact that it's like he can't be doing this every time. One of these times he's got to be like, honest, and it's gonna be a normal weight, and no, it's not.
The game should be starting any second here. I love looking at the stats. These stats, I assume, are only taking into account this season because they're kind of wild.
Well, and you're not necessarily going to see those high participation rates going forward. Although, like my rates are eerily similar to how I finished last season, but yeah, I don't think, for instance, Andre is going to be able to carry a 2,500 average deal-in or a 6.8% deal-in rate for the entire season.
It would be pretty incredible, though, and Pio here starting out with a fantastic hand. I mean, 3 Rionman and 1 completed shape in So. It draws the 5 So, can get Itsu, a full straight.
Yeah, there's definitely options on the table. You can definitely fill in some of the other Rionman weights and just go for a Pinfu hand outside of Itsu. And the pair of 4s makes it a little bit easier for Pio to kind of shift away and just go for maybe just a regular Ricci Pinfu type hand. But we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, looking around the table, it looks like there's actually a couple of pretty nice, efficient hands. There's no completed shapes in Andre's hand to the right. Well, now there is, with that 6-mon draw. But all of Andre's shapes, except for that 1-2 So, are pretty nice and can easily be filled in. And across the table, Vincent has a complete shape in the pin, as well as a couple of nice Rionmen.
actually sitting Ryan Shunten right now, and for pretty much the same hand that Pio's got, Vici Pinfu. If they decide to go Vici Pinfu, both sides have already discarded the Dora as it didn't quite fit in their hands. So not going to get value that way, but we'll want to try to see if they can get a quick start here to the match.
Yeah, and that is an interesting thing to point out, because players tend to hold on to Dora, even if it's a little bit harder to use, like the 9-mon. But, I mean, their hands started so close to Tenpai already that there was really no use making their hands less efficient just to hold on to it.
Although, oddly enough, with these Ramen weights and everything, you'd think they maybe at least find some way to improve their hands, and they haven't quite. Even that 2-mon doesn't quite help Pio there, unless he wants to consider things like Ippei Go, for instance.
Or Tanyao even, tossing that 1-so.
Possibly. That way he can at least call for the hand, right?
It does make the 4-so not as good as a pair candidate, because now you're thinking of those two shapes as 2-3-4 and 4-5.
And if you want to guarantee the fact that to not end up in a furry 10 state, you'd probably be pitching 7-8-so here. If you started to call, anyways. But yeah, Pio's gotten no help here.
Andre Tenpai can discard the 2-pin for Pinfu or the 3-pin for Riichi Nomi. Does discard the 2-pin, so that's going to be Riichi Pinfu.
But they're only to the 4s because all the 1s are already out.
Yeah, that's probably why there was a hesitation there on the Riichi. I mean, that's a pretty bad Shanpon in general with the 6-so, you having 3 of them already. But there's really more tiles out of the 2-pin 6. Well, I guess 1 2-pin was already discarded. So there's 4 4-pin that Andre can't see, 1 2-pin, and 1 6-so. So the 4-pin's still better. There's actually 2 still left in the wall.
Pio looks like they were out when they discarded that 2-so, but I think the 2-mon is trying to make him figure out if there's some way they can get back to Tenpai here in the last couple of draws.
We're definitely seeing a lot of thought going into some of these discards here. Ooh, that 7-so. That's Tenpai for Vincent across the way. Will Vincent chase? Is staying Dama. Is Pinfu, so can win on 2-mon or 5-mon. Oh, and it comes into Andre's hand! So Vincent just picking up a clean 1000 plus Andre's Riichi stick and just kind of moving things along here. Andre, the new dealer, once again, dealer starting with a pretty nice hand. This is already 2 Shanten.
It is just for Riichi only, and oddly enough, that 6-so doesn't quite help. If they wanted to call, well, I guess it does help with it, at least includes the 5, but it's kind of sideways at this point.
They could already include the 5-so. I feel like what the 6-so really gives you is the ability to go for Tanyao, because now if you wanted to, you could, yeah. And we have a pair of Haku across the table for Andrew. Also has a Dora 1-mon and could be building a 1-2-3 Sanshoku. So we'll see how willing Andrew is to open this hand.
Andrew could have even entertained like a Chanta type hand, because if you already have Yakuhai Sanshoku, that's literally everything. That's literally your 4 melds, and you're just needing a pair. So if your pair is a set of terminals, you've just added Chanta to your hand.
Andrew did pass the first Haku.
It's a bit strange, because if it's a Chanta type hand, it's usually hard to really build together quickly, and now they're really behind the 8-ball with dealer declaring Riichi.
And setting up the Suji trap here on the 7-mon, but can also win on the 2-mon. But this
they
is
did manage to fill in that
Tanyao.
5-so, so that definitely worked out for them.
I mean, so far, we only see 1 2-mon in the hand to the right in Vincent's hand. Otherwise, the other 3 tiles Andre's waiting on are all on the wall. And now that 5-mon's out, the 2-mon is Suji.
Yeah, but if you look at it in the discard piles, you don't really see a whole lot of Manzu being discarded. And even though Andre's discarded those, I'm not sure how many people will still discard Manzu. Although with Pio declaring Ricci, I mean, if he doesn't need it, it's obviously going to come out.
Yeah, now Manzu does look a little bit more dangerous after that, though. Pio, however, is waiting on 1-so, 4-so. Ricci, Penfu, possible Ipeko on a 1-so drop. The 1-so is Genbutsu to dealer. So this could be dangerous for Andrew.
No.
Oh, it does! Deals in on the Takame, the more valuable winning tile there for Ricci,
And
Penfu,
the
Ipeko.
Aurora makes it a full 8,000. See, the odd thing about that hand too, going back, if you look back, is that there was Sozu being discarded, but there wasn't a lot of low Sozu, and Pio did discard the 5-so, I believe. So usually, if somebody discards a 5 out of hand, especially early, you want to be careful of the 1-4 or the 6-9 as weights.
Yeah, Urasuji is, I believe, the name of that concept, where you think of discarding away from a Ryanman shape, or outside of the Ryanman shape, rather.
And with the 5... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, our dealers keep getting interesting hands. With that draw is now 2 Shanten. Could even get a 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Could once again entertain Chanta.
I mean, you could entertain Junchan if you get lucky enough here.
But that would require discarding the Pei, discarding the North, which would be entirely unacceptable, just on principle.
Well, there's the Dora.
Ooh.
It's interesting to see how they might play this. They are going to shift away from the Sanshoku.
Did have 6 shapes in hand, so cutting a shape, especially with that Dora draw, makes sense.
Put the question back to you, do you really want to do this? And the answer is yes.
Now, it's good to commit to an idea, unless you realize you've made some sort of awful mistake. Even if the tiles continue to tempt you, it's good to try and stay disciplined and stick to what you originally decided to do. There's our Ricci on the left from Andre. That's going to be waiting on 3-so, 6-so, Ricci, Penfu. A lot of Penfu so far this game.
Right.
Oh!
That comes out immediately.
So Ricci, Penfu, Apatsu for 3,900. Andrew,
there wasn't really a whole lot to go off of anyways, so I mean, probably Andrew just decided just to continue playing normally until otherwise forewarned, and unfortunately, he didn't even get a chance to get warned. He just ended up paying in.
almost the safest tile in the hand seemed to be the Dora, because there were 3 8-mon, which made the 9-mon harder to wait on, but you're never going to trust that with Dora.
Does one chance for that.
Does get a fantastic hand here, though. Once again, we have a dealer, Ishanten, on turn 3 already.
Yeah, but that 7-pin, it really wants to fill that in if they're going to really get to Tempai here. But now draws the Dora and could easily shift away from the 6-8 maybe.
Doesn't want to throw away a whole shape yet. You're not guaranteed to fill in anything with the 9-so, so that's perfectly understandable. Around the table, it looks like on the right we have another Ishanten for Pio. Looks like a pretty straightforward Penfu Ishanten. Could get 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku, actually. Oh, and there's Tempai. Andrew doesn't take the Tempai. Could have discarded the Dora 9-so and waited Shanpon on 1-mon 2-pin, Ricci Nomi, but does not do it. Now has an incredibly wide Ishanten with that 9-pin draw.
It's interesting because if not looking at other tiles else around the table, you'd think that maybe there would be a chance for something like an Itsu with Dora Tanki, which is like obviously not a great weight, but if you have the Itsu to go along with it, would make the hand really expensive. Could have even used that 6-so, really.
If you're gonna use the 6-0, it almost feels like you have to discard the 9-0. Do
And
you
you'd have to
yeah.
discard Dora, and it didn't seem like from the discards before that Andrew was going to do that. They wanted to incorporate it hell or high water, and they've done so, waiting on the Kanchan 8-0.
Waiting on Dora indicator is always pretty tricky. There is a lone 8-0 just hanging out in Vincent's hand. I don't know that Vincent has the value that would encourage him to push, but is relatively close to Tenpai, so could
Well, now you can
be
drop like a 7-mon or something, or like the North, and now you've incorporated that into your hand, so.
Pio still Ishanten as well. Been able to play relatively safely so far. The 7-pin is Suji. See if Pio is willing to drop that. Decides to drop the safe 2-mon instead. Maintains the Ishanten. Avoids stealing Suji.
I think just because like their 1-mons are all out, so if they wanted to depend on that shape filling, it made the chances that may have been a little bit lower. So getting rid of the 2-3 shape might have been, well, actually not even 2-3, because now they can just win on the 4. But at least getting rid of the 2 was kind of it was made redundant anyways.
And your Yaku that you would rely on to be able to win with would be Tanyao instead of Pinfu, which is perfectly acceptable. There's still an 8-0 in the wall somewhere.
Chi.
And we see Andre making a call. Could be going for K10 here. Is Ishanten. Oh, and there's a 7-0 pickup for Vincent. Decides to discard a pair of 1-pin.
I mean, they weren't conning the 2-0s anyway, so it looks like as if they're probably just kind of folding out in this sense. Might use the con if necessary to deny Andrew a draw.
Well, I mean, now I wonder if you take the con, because the Haku's been cleared. That Haku looks so dangerous. And there it is, in the 1-pin safe! So you can actually win this on the 8-mon if it were to come out, but it doesn't.
That is one fortunate draw there.
So that 1500 is going to help Vincent approach first and kind of try and feel more secure in second, although in East 4, it's still a pretty tight game here. And I would say this is the first dealer hand we've seen that's kind of not good.
Yeah, I can't really see anything in terms of like a Yaku high, although I guess if you draw another tune, maybe, but not really much in terms of a hand that's of a Yaku that you can find out of here.
Across the table, however, Andre, I mean, that hand already, well, I guess it's 2 Shanten because there's no pair. But I mean, the hand looks beautiful. Has a great Ipeiko possibility in Manzu, another completed shape in the pin, and then 2 Ryeonman and So. As soon as Andre finds a pair, that hand will be Ishanten. Is actually headless Ishanten now, since the Ipeiko is confirmed. Just gotta stay closed. And Pio on the right, opened on the south very early, has Dora acceptance, but no Dora yet, is actually still 2 Shanten with that hand. Actually, doesn't have enough shapes. That's 3 Shanten still for Pio, despite the call. Oh, wow.
2 Onko on the left already.
Yeah, and 2 pairs besides that. You could draw the
Only
7
is kind of the Dora. I mean, that could be your pair Tonki, I guess, if you draw the 7-so, but you'd almost start getting greedy, because you could technically get to the point where you're at Suonko.
Or you just get the 9-pin here, and you can Dama waiting on 7-so.
You Dama waiting on the 7, and if you somehow get an Onko of the Dora 8-so, 9-so, then all bets are off, and you're going to go for the Suonko.
Do you Richi? Or do you Richi your Suonkos? That's the question. Oh, this 7-so might come out right here. Yep,
Don't they take it? They'll take it, obviously, with the 2 Dora, so.
You can't deny a 6400 there.
could if you were maybe in Andrew's position and you weren't dealer. You might, if you're looking for more points, that's later in the game. But no, in that particular instance, it's perfectly.
So entering into South 1, Vincent just overtook first place. PO now in second with 37,500. And this is a decent starting hand for dealer. One complete sequence, a couple of Rionmen. Just got to get rid of a couple of bad floaters and a 1-2 Pinchon in the Mon.
I mean, you could technically entertain a 1-2-3 Sanshoku, but like when you're dealing with a Sanshoku at the edge like that, you'd never feel comfortable doing that because your ways of getting into that are your weights, or at least your weights maybe to complete that are just.
Well, and PO drawing very well despite not having a bunch of shapes to start. Ishanten already. Could actually end up with 3-4-5 or 2-3-4 Sanshoku according to how the draws go.
Yeah, this is an ideal situation here. I mean, you can go for the Tanyao, waiting for the 2-5. It's not Pinfu because you're looking for your pair. PO could also consider waiting here if they somehow draw 3 Mon. Now they can do something with like possibly incorporate a 3-4-5 Sanshoku to this.
All right, switching the weight to 3-pin, 6-pin. None of those have been discarded yet, whereas 1-2 Mon and 1-2 So and 1-5 So had been discarded. So,
and again, this still leaves the opportunity of Sanshoku open because you can definitely make this flexible. But PO will just take the wait 1 turn Ricci here, and we'll wait on the 3-6.
This is Ricci Tanyao. And the 3-pin comes into hand. Vincent can't really use it. So Vincent is going to be folding for a little bit here if they want to avoid dealing in. Oh, that 2-pin helps.
And see, here's the thing. If Pio waited a couple of turns, that 3 So they just discarded, they could then discard 3-pin, declare Ricci, and they could have then incorporated a Sanshoku to this if they got the 6 So.
And would also have Pinfu guaranteed because you'd have a 3-3-4-5.
Yep.
This is, let's see. This is still Ishanten for Andre, but Andre just folding out here. Well, but that 4 So, it's not Nakasuji, but it's not Genbutsu.
I think the issue that they'd say is if they're going to be Tenpai, they're going to discard 7 Mon. And discarding 7 Mon into what Pio's discarded is not comfortable at all.
And actually didn't have any Genbutsu in hand, so Nakasuji was the best Andre had. We have a chase on the left from Andrew. This is Champon, 4-pin, 8-pin. 8-pin is the Dora. So this is Ricci Dora 2, possibly Dora 3. But we see both of the Dora in Vincent's hand across the way, and we know that they aren't going to toss that. Andre now Tenpai on the right, waiting 3 Mon, 6 Mon. Now waiting 4 Mon, 9 Mon.
Which is just for K10.
And gets it. And that K10 actually enough to pull Andre above 30k. So really, really valuable collecting those points there for Andre. That could be an important 1,000 points to pay attention to later. Pio with another decent starting hand as dealer has an Anko in the hand to start and a couple of Rionmen. Otherwise, we'll just need to make the hand, develop the hand everywhere else. Around the table, Andre probably has the next best hand on the right. Has nice shapes in the middle of the suits that will be easy to go out. Vincent kind of stuck with the 8-9 pin Pinchon and the pair of 9 Mon. Those kind of need to be the pair to be useful at this point, unless you're able to make it Nanko. Well, and there's another 9 pin.
Andrew now has 5 pairs. I was mentioning they had 3 pairs, then they had 4 pairs, and by the time you were done talking, they have 5 pairs.
Sometimes Chitoy just be like that. 7 pairs just comes all at once. The issue is whenever I'm in this situation as Andrew, where you have 5 pairs, but your tiles aren't all good 7 pairs tiles, I really want to get rid of that 5 pin and that 6 pin, especially the 6 pin for the Suji trap. But I always get worried that if I discard them too early or too fast or too next to each other, that it'll be obvious that I'm going for 7 pairs and I'll end up getting chased.
The thing is, Andrew decided to discard the 6 pin out of hand, and so to me that means that they're still hedging for G-Toy and weren't going to just declare Vici on some type of just some weird hand where it's like they've got the 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, 9, and then so it went from there. So they're definitely going for value here, which makes sense considering that 11-9.
And now that the 2 pin comes into hand, discards the 5 pin. But I feel like with that discard pool, people might end up kind of being wary of Suji traps because there's a lot of middle tiles. Oh, and there's a con from Pio. Con to the 8-mon. Flipped over the 7-so as the new Dora is Ishanten. That 7-so gave Andre 1 Dora. Andre is open, but still
that should be a call.
Away. Chi. I imagine. Yep. Takes the Chi. Now Ishanten for Andre. Chi. A perfect Ishanten.
And now another call with the Dora being discarded.
It's going to be hard for Vincent to make that a winnable hand. This might be an early call for K10. Vincent was so far away.
And should be another call, maybe?
Yeah. All right, and that's going to become Tanya, actually, for Vincent. Still a ways away. Andre waiting on 3-so, 6-so, which we see 4 of, which everybody can see 5 of.
Oh my gosh. Tears up the 8 pin.
Vincent getting incredible draws here. I wonder if Pio has missed the early Hatsu discard by Andre.
Maybe. I mean, like, they could also be worried about Vincent across the way.
Well, 3 have already been discarded.
Oh.
That was the last one.
Oh, that's right.
And there's Senpai for Vincent waiting 2-so 8 pin. The 2-so not going to come out of Andre's hand.
That 6 pin is really annoying, but it looks like at least for now, and Andrew's going to continue to stick to their guns. But if they somehow call for Toy Toy here, which I doubt because it's late,
and this is one of the issues.
Could have been dangerous, but I don't think he will.
And this is also something that comes up when you're going for 7 pairs and you have 5 pairs, so you're 1 away, and then you draw an Anko. You kind of need to commit one way or the other. Sometimes you can hedge your bets, but you really need to either commit to Toy Toy or Suanko or commit to Chi Toy. Because if you sit with 1 Anko and 4 other pairs in your hand for too long, you are ruining your efficiency. Chi Toy is already a very inefficient hand.
Your efficiency, but I'd actually like to beg to differ in some cases. I think it's still worth it to carry that Anko because you have the Suanko chance. And if you don't have any better tiles to be hanging around for your Chi Toy, that are out there, like setting a trap of some sort, then holding an Anko I don't think is too bad.
You just need to be very particular about when you do it, I think. It's something to really do purposefully and not to do offhand, I guess, is what I would say.
Double Yakuhai Dora for dealer.
The Dora not useful in hand yet, but easily could be.
I mean, have it be Tonki and you've got yourself a long gun.
There we go. Could get a 2-3-4 Sanshoku even here.
And that all would be undone, assuming they could. Actually, no, they wouldn't be because you wouldn't have double Yakuhai at that point.
If you're open, right? Well, I mean, you can't have both Yakuhai either way, but it wouldn't be a Mangana open. We do have
you could still be Yakuhai Sanshoku because it'd be one level would be your Yakuhai, the other 3 would be your Sanshoku. You just couldn't have double Yakuhai.
Right. Vincent is Tempai on the right, waiting on Forso. Probably just waiting for a better pair to appear at some point. Can't wait on the one pin or the tune because Tanyao is their Yaku. Tanyao Nomi, in fact, trying to collect those 2 Ricci sticks and the 2 home butt in the middle. 2,600 points up for grabs.
That's a bit.
Oh no, the 2-so came out of Andre's hand. That almost guarantees the 4-so will flow out too.
Yeah, I wonder if they were thinking about Honitsu possibilities here, and yeah.
Yeah, made a shift to try and get more value, and it just ended up being the exact wrong tile. That's just kind of bad luck. It's not often you're going to deal into a 4-so Tonki that early.
Door for dealer.
A hard
Not
to
much
use
else
Dora.
otherwise in terms of like a Yaku per se, other than Ricci, but I mean, even if you get to Ricci to Dora, you're looking at what 7,700 as dealer. Oh, yeah, now you have Yakuhai. Never mind.
But Pio has 2. It's the Easts are Mochi Mochi. Pio has 2. Vincent has 2. Unlikely to come out of either person's hand unless Pio feels like they need to start pushing for Tanyao or something similar, as Pio is not the East Wind. Vincent not taking the bait to go Atazuke there, calling the North, which is good for Vincent since those Easts are unlikely to come out. There's another 7.
Oh, that's interesting.
Not the pair you expect, but you'll take it. And there's Tempai for Pio. Has an Ipeco. So this is Ricci Ipeco waiting on the 7-so. And those Easts are forever locked away.
And there's the trap Pio sets with that 4-so discard on turn 4.
And it was Sumogiri, which makes it look a little bit easier to deal into.
The 7s might be loose in Andre's hand, or at least one of them might be.
There's only one 7-so left, and right now all 3 players can use it.
There is a world, though, where Andre might have to consider discarding that 7-so, though.
It'll be interesting to see how they build their hands to try and combat that. Vincent still 2 away here, trying to play around this Ricci. Vincent doesn't really need to push.
And Andre, I think, got bailed out here, drawing the 4-so adjacent to the 5, because now the 7s can be their pair. And they could have gone for a Tanya, but instead they do decide to discard that 4-so after all.
Well, the 4-so and the 5-so are both safe, so if we're playing pure safety here, it makes sense.
There's Tempai.
Can only win on the East, but that obviously can't happen. The worst part about that 4-so chi for Vincent here is that the 7-so isn't going to be useful to them anymore. Otherwise, it's a nice way to maintain dealership. I almost wonder, with Pio not having a dealership left, would you consider abandoning Tempai as Vince here? If a safe tile if 1, 2, or 3 pin, say, becomes safe for you to discard. I guess 2 pin's already safe, and now 3 pin is.
I mean, it depends. I don't think that this lead isn't exactly comfortable. It's what, 93? No, sorry. Yeah, 9,300. So, if you're no 10 here, that's a swing of possibly 3,000, maybe even 4,000.
It makes Mongonron on somebody else enough to overtake you.
Right.
But how often do those hands come around?
I don't know. How often does Ricci Ura 3 happen? Sorry,
Wow.
just going off your comment from before.
Right. Well, and now, look at this table. The dragons are all over the place. All 4 of the Haku have been dealt. 2 of them in Vincent's hand, 1 in Andre's, 1 in Pio's, and 3 Hatsu in Andrew's hand, and 3 Chun.
This could double Yakuhai Honitsu Chanta? That's kind of gross if they can get there. Oh, and Dora too, I guess, if you're going to go West Tonki.
Yeah, and Andrew, I was going to say that you don't really have to force the Honitsu with the 2 Yakuhai and with the Dora in hand, but Andrew would really like some value. You, at the very least, want to try and get out of 4th place. Just isn't drawing any So tiles, and none of the So tiles that Vincent have discarded have been useful.
Yeah, and I think you have to go for the value here, because even though you have your dealership left, you can maybe forego some greed here, but I think you have to go for some. Like I could consider foregoing like Chanta, for instance, if it meant that I could call and get to Tenpai.
Andre just denied 3 So Kanchan. Had the 2 So in hand, could discard 2 pin, and would be Tenpai waiting on 3 So, but did not take it. Wants to get Pinfu, I believe. That Ricci Nomi wouldn't be enough to get them over 30k.
I wondered if he was going to con that. I wondered if he was going to do that because they just need extra Dora, extra points, and the 7 So is now the Dora.
7 So now Dora. Andre could have stayed Dama, but with 2 indicators decides to Ricci. This is Ricci Ipeco waiting on the 5 So.
And they have incentive to go for this too because they're not that far away from second.
And not that far away from 30k, which, as a reminder to everyone, in the ARML, we use a floating Uma where, and that 5 So shouldn't come out of hand, where if you are above 30k, you're guaranteed a positive score, even if you're in 3rd. And if you're below 30k, you are guaranteed a negative score, even if you are in 2nd.
It's going to be really hard for Vincent to find Tenpai here because they would probably have to discard Dora to get there or the 4 So.
I mean, and also Pio's holding all of the freaking Sozu. I mean, Pio has 4 7 So and 3 3 So. It's actually
an 8 drop, I think, shouldn't it?
8 So.
8 So drop, yeah.
Yeah, those 5 So are probably safe in hand here. Although it is Nakasugi. But Andrew has safer tiles in hand. You'd imagine the Hatsu to be safer, even live, since you have 3 of them. Pio calling for Toy Toy, but now has to discard something scary. Do you con just to get a safe tile? Nope. Discard Suji 3 pin. Well, and now you can con because you have a safe tile and discard a definitely safe final discard. Yeah.
Yep,
so the con takes...
deny Ricci a final draw. Yep.
That 3,000 points is huge for Andre, though. There's 2 Ricci sticks and 2 Honba on the table. That brings Andre up to 28-3. Any win gets Andre above 30k, and Andre actually starting off with a complete 1-2-3 Mon and a pair of Hatsu and 2 pairs of Sozu.
Pio with a Mangan Roan at this point, not off of first, can take first because of the 2600 that's in the middle.
And that's absolutely huge. So a couple... Would the... Yeah, a Mangan Roan would be enough for Andre to overtake second as well.
The only person that's really... that this doesn't help at all is, unfortunately, Andrew. Their dealer, they don't really have a Yakuhai. They can't call this unless they try to force some type of Chanta hand, which will still be slow. So they're going to need a lot of help here, especially with a call already on the table.
Yeah, and their hand though is kind of inherently slow. I wonder if you call for the Chanta just to have literally anything here.
Yeah, like I would have considered calling that 9-pin. Like I'd chi 7 8 9, discard 5 mon, and just pray to God I can get something. Because if another 9-pin comes out, I can palm that. You're literally looking for anything. You just need to continue your dealership.
Two Shanton now for Andrew. However,
Yeah, but
Andre
it's
is
too
Tempai, waiting on
waiting on
4-7.
4-7.
Yep, 4-7 so. God, just can't get suits today. That's
And
Tempai
there
for
it
Pio, but it's gonna deal in. So that's definitely gonna. Oh no, it's not gonna flip second and third. It was only a
But
one.
it will put
hand.
Andre over 30,000, which
Right.
means Andrew's going to eat the full -20 here.
Oof, that always hurts. But we got a plus 30.3 for Vincent. A very nice first place showing there. Pio with a plus 9.4 second. Andre with a plus 1.9 third. A very good final hand to get Andre over 30K. And then Andrew just having easily the worst hand at the table in all last, which is just unfortunate. Got stuck with the -20 penalty because of it. Couldn't even fight off Andre getting above the 30K.
And again, this is something where, like I said before, it's Chanta's going to be a slow hand, but there really wasn't really much else for them to depend on. So I think probably the correct thing to do, even if you're going to commit yourself to a slow hand, is just a call. Like, give yourself a chance.
For the record, even with the calls, I'm fairly certain that that hand still wouldn't have gone to Andrew, but there would have been a fighting chance.
Right. And that's really realistically that as in that position, that's all you can hope for yourself.
And looking at the stats here, we mentioned at the top that 3 of these players started off in the promotion zone. And this sheet has not updated yet, nor has the stats on the side. But with that game, that is going to drop Andrew down to 10th?
Plus
11th?
Yeah,
No,
11th.
11th.
Like that.
We're getting a refresh going here so that we can see the updated standings. Andrew dropping to 9th. I'll work on my math. Andre and, some other games finished as well, maybe, it looks like. Andre and Pio, though, moving up. Pio in an especially nice position at 89.9. And Vincent moving towards that ±0, which, as far away from that demotion zone as you can be, is always preferable. Andrew, last dealer in the first Hanchan, has the opportunity to start off strong here. You could think of it as a dealer repeat if you wanted to try and pump yourself up. Can accept the Dora 6-pin. Has a very nice 2, 3, 4, 5 shape in the Pinzu. It's like a Nobeton shape if it's your final weight, because you'd be waiting on 2-pin or 5-pin. But it's a very good shape before your hand is Tempai, because you could draw a 1-pin, a 3-pin, a 4-pin, or a 6-pin. All of them would give you at least a 2-sided weight. The 6-pin would actually give you a 3-sided weight, which is fantastic. So it's a very good shape to have in hand. The only suit that's really bad for Andrew is the Manzu.
I think that may have frozen here, because I'm pretty sure Vincent hasn't waited that long. Oh, there we go.
And Andrew did, in fact, draw the 1-pin. So Andrew's hand looking pretty nice. Pio with an Anko of the West now, which is kind of awkward because it forces you into having to Riichi, which you typically want to Riichi anyway, but you don't generally want your hand to become less flexible. Andre going Atazuke, it appears, calling Chi.
No, this is a Honitsu push.
Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you still got those So shapes in hand. Ooh, draws another So. Keeping the pair. The pair's a little bit easier to use at the end if you need to. But you're right. I'm sure that is a Honitsu push. I so rarely force Honitsu that I always miss those. He's Ishanten now. And actually could also get Itsu on top of this.
I was going to say, there is a possibility for Itsu here.
Andrew Ishanten and Andre Tempai now waiting on 7-mon.
How many people are willing to attempt dropping Monzu in this situation?
There's a Ricci waiting on 7-so for Vincent. This is Ricci Dora 1. Oh, Andre could con. Andre's thinking about it. Doesn't. Just discards the safe Hatsu. Very nice. I appreciate it. Oh, and we could see a chase here from Andrew. Is dealer. But it would be Ricci Nomi.
On the same 7-so.
Yep. If Andre were to draw a 7-so, I'd be very interested to see. All right, we are seeing a fold out here. Well, not necessarily a full fold out. 9.
I don't know if you'll see the players that aren't Ricci here discard Sosu. I just don't know if you'll see that. Outside of like the safe 1-so, or actually even the 1-so wasn't. Well, actually the 1-so wasn't bad. It was like a 1 chance, I think, because
the one.
If it's a 2-3 way, it's a 1 chance.
Yeah, the 2-so also 1 chance. Like the low Sozu don't look as bad as the upper Sozu. The 7-so.
Oh, there it is.
Vincent wins the single tile sumo lottery here. No Ura, so just going to be 4,000 points and then 2,000 from the Ricci sticks. So Vincent, starting out strong again, is in first going into East 2.
Okay, wait, we had to move over. So the starting hand doesn't look all that great, but for Pio, it's not too bad, but it's going to be the same situation he was in last time. This time with a set of Ananko of 9 pins to the west.
Unfortunately, you're going to be racing. It looks like Vincent's hand is just leagues better than anyone else's at the table, or at least started that way. Already 2 Shanten. Doesn't have a pair, and that's kind of mucking things up a little bit. That's giving everyone else time to catch up. Andrew especially has had some very nice draws.
There's another one.
I'm surprised we didn't see the 9-so didn't come out because 8-so is Dora. But with the 6-so in hand, I feel like 6-so accepts the 8-so just as well as 9-so does, if not better. Ooh, we see a pawn from Andre. Gonna take this as a Tanyao. Has a single Dora in hand.
I thought maybe Andrew might have been hedging for something, and I don't know if they maybe used Dora multiple times or like a Anitsu, but they discarded that 1-so, so that wasn't it. I'm not quite sure why they're holding onto the 9-so, really.
Vincent going for Dama Pinfu, waiting 3-so, 6-so. I mean, that 6-so seems destined to come out from Pio. Pinfu Dora 1.
Maybe, but like...
It comes out from Andrew first!
That's weird. Why wouldn't you discard 9-so?
And it is possible that the last game is affecting Andrew. I don't know if y'all heard Nathaniel speak from the heavens as our broadcast director, but we did in the booth. We, as the prophets of Nathaniel in this broadcast, can communicate his wisdom onto you. And he says Andrew might be affected from the last game, which does happen. I certainly get very tilted. We have a pair of Haku in Pio's hand to the left. That could make that a fast hand, although Vincent, once again, starting 2 Shanten, has an Anko of the 9-mon and can accept the Dora 3-so. Although Andrew's hand, perhaps... God, everybody's hand looks pretty good. And Andrew has very nice Sozu shapes. Just has a few too many Kanchan in all the other suits. Andre... I don't even know what's going on in Andre's hand. I'm kind of going cross-eyed looking at the pin. That's just 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Andre
interesting drop by Andrew, because they could have had a 2, 3, 4 and a 5, 6, 7 and finish those weights, but I would have thought maybe you'd want to discard some of the Pinzu, but it looks like they're going to commit to that Ryankan shape with the 4, 6, 8 now.
Is perhaps trying to force the Pinfu a little bit more. doesn't want to end up on a final Kanchan weight. And actually, now we're headless Ishanten.
Yeah, and you'd have to. I mean, if you want to keep the Yanmin shape 4-5, you're going to have to make that a Kanchan weight again.
Yeah, and we toss the 8-pin. There's a chance for 4-5-6 Sanshoku, but not having a pair makes that a lot more difficult.
Andre's got the Onko of South, so they can Dama a hand here, and if they pair up the 3-so, 5-so, then you can have a Dama Yakuhai Ipeiko possibility here.
There's a 4-pin. We'll see if Andre calls. Does not. Could have cheated that and discarded a 9-so, but Andre wants to keep the hand closed, keep it more valuable. We now have Tempai waiting on the 6-pin for Andrew. This is Tanyao Dora 1. We don't see a Ricci come out except from Pio, who is waiting on 4-so. And that's Ricci Dora 1.
And again, you see there right before the Ricci, there is that naked 5-so discard. So, I mean, it's not a Ryanman weight like you normally would think. But again, if you're thinking 1-4 or 6-9, that 4-so is Pio's weight. So, I would imagine if you're familiar with that, you'd want to be a little hesitant about discarding those.
Yeah, they're certainly dangerous tiles. But took it anyway. Elected to take that over the Shenpon, which is interesting. Well, I guess the 5-so was already out of hand when the improvement was drawn, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So couldn't have waited on the Haku.
And the thing is, like, maybe you're just like, oh, well, the 3-so is discarded now. Maybe the 4 is safer. It doesn't work that way.
Ah, now we have the chase. We have a better weight. We have a 5-so, 8-so weight. Although I don't know how much better that weight is for Andrew. We see a 5-so and an 8-so discarded. Andrew has one 5-so, two 8-so in hand. And then the other two 5-so are being held in hand. There's the sumo!
This isn't Thursday, but he just sumos it.
Will there be an Ura?
Does not get the Ura, though.
It is enough, however, to take first place by 1,000 points. Pio's Ricci stick getting him there. And we'll move the dealership along after that very exciting win from Andrew. It always feels good after you've had a bad game to get a big win like that. It's not exactly early in this game, but early enough for you to be getting yourself in the right mindset. Andre, very interesting
just a quick Yakuhai here if they wanted to.
Yeah, Andrew certainly could. Got the pair of Hatsu. What's Andre gonna make though? These pin are so weird. You have a bunch of high pin, but then the one pin is Dora, and it's just kind of sitting all by itself.
You know, you just drew that. I'm guessing they're gonna see, since the rest of the shapes aren't great, you can afford to maybe hedge for something that uses it, but looks like they've just decided, no, not gonna hold it. Not gonna hold that tile after all.
There's 5 pairs in the hand to the right. Oh, but Andrew's gonna go for Toy Toy instead. Ishanten doesn't even have to be Toy Toy if you get the Hatsu. Could go for the better 1-pin, 4-pin weight since that includes Dora, although Toy Toy is still more valuable.
Draw over where Pio is. Also
Doesn't keep
to
it
take
though.
Back.
Tanyao is just as valuable as a single Dora. And with that call on the left, there's Tempai, 2-pin 7-so.
I mean, actually, the 7-so come out sooner than the 2-pin.
Oh, yeah. The 7-so looks like an incredible weight. I mean, Sozu look as cheap as a tile can look so early in the hand.
That's another pair.
Kang.
That's 5. There's the Khan! The 2-pin got flipped as Dora! So this is Toy Toy Hatsu Dora 2. But the 7-so comes out, so it's not going to be a Hanuman, just a Mangon. But still, a great win for Andrew. Back-to-back Mongons. Now with a very nice lead, sitting at 42,000 going into South 1. Not the best hand here, although we've certainly seen worse. It's really just the honors
here, looking for the Otozuke.
does have the Haku in hand, is keeping the Hatsu, could even hedge Honitsu here. I know other people do that sometimes. We see the 7-9 shape get discarded before the lone Hatsu does, so might be thinking something along those lines. Vincent across the way could be going for a 1-2-3 Sanshoku.
Pong.
There's the Haku call. 2 2-pins are discarded, which is kind of unfortunate for Pio. And there's a south call for Vincent. What we gonna go for here? Discards the 2-pin. All right, getting rid of that shape, taking your Ishanten. You're only gonna get one Han unless you can draw the 4-mon.
I think they would have considered going for a Sanshoku here, but the problem was they didn't have a pair otherwise, and I think that's probably why they decided against it.
That does get in the way, and an open Sanshoku is worth the same as the 4-mon would be, so keeping the 4-mon as an option is nice for Vincent, especially since it's the better weight. The 2-sided weight 1-mon, 4-mon. We see Pio deny Tenpai there. Would have been Tenpai waiting on the 2-pin, which, of course, 3 have already been discarded. Were discarded all in a row by Vincent.
So I don't know if Andrew was wanting to fight here, but I think they could have easily made some calls here to speed up their to finish up some of these melds, but it is just opting to stay closed.
Pio now waiting for either another Hatsu or something around that 5-so shape to get to Tenpai, but might not be willing to discard Sozu at all. Vincent hasn't discarded any. Well, we'll see now. 2-so feels fine to Pio.
Yeah, Pio wasn't actually willing to wait on the last 2-pin, at least in the meantime, so I discarded the 1-pin, then the 3. Is just looking to find some type of Tenpai, I guess, but I mean, unless you draw the 4, so if you draw the 6, you're in a furry 10 weight, or maybe the 5, and just go for a Shanfeng weight.
Andrew now Tenpai, Ipeko Tanyao Dora 2, and calls Richi, Ipeko Tanyao Dora 2.
3-mons are dead. Well, they're in hand.
All right, so they're not dead. They could theoretically come out. They just can't be sumoed. And it's not like Manzu looks especially safe here. So it doesn't feel like they should come out.
Yeah, I was going to say, they probably want to kick that 2-so back, because otherwise you have to drop a Manzu for Tenpai, or the 5, I guess, but at that point you just discard the 2 anyways.
Yeah, Vincent in a very awkward position. No Genbutsu. The 3-mon actually the best looking tile, as it was Suji.
Pio does manage to find Tenpai again, but is furry 10 after all.
Waiting for 7-so, absolutely. Do you discard the 1-mon? It's Dora Suji. Nope, does not. Safe 6-so.
I don't know if it would have been different if Pio could have roamed off of somebody instead of being furry 10, but I think the other thing you consider is that you are giving points to dealer, but the dealership is not moving, so you have another shot to try to make up some points here.
And that Ricci stick buys Andrew 3,000 points, which is pretty nice, as the 3-mon probably wasn't going to come out of anyone's hand anyway, so no one else wins.
I think there was some scare to that as well.
And this is a fairly nice starting hand. You have a Dora, you've got 2 completed melds, you have a pair, you just need a 5th block. You can get it anywhere, just needs to be there. Across the table, there's only 3 pairs in that hand, but one of those pairs is the Chun. So we could see a fast hand across the way if Vincent decides to start opening. 4 pairs on the right for Pio.
Boom.
Should be
But
called, yep.
that could become a normal hand. And Vincent tossing away the 8-9 pin shape after the call, as you pointed out. Oh,
And
Ishan 10 now.
Is Ishan 10, but has 2 Kanchan weights, so not the most ideal thing in the world, but you're gonna need to find improvements. That's gonna be a little difficult as well.
Andre taking the pawn there.
Boom.
Oh, and immediately gets another, is rewarded. The 5 pin is the deal-in tile here. This is Tanya Aldora 1. Tempai now for Vincent. Oh, there's a 5 pin sumo! Calls all around, but Andre is the one that gets it.
It's just like call, win. Give me my points.
Andrew would have liked to run away with it on that dealership, but is not especially hurt by that.
No.
It's still over 11,000 points in the lead here, as Pio gets the dealership. 9 mon is Dora. Pio's hand is very middling. 2 nice shapes that aren't complete, 1 complete shape, and then a whole bunch of terminals and honors.
Yeah, Andre is probably gonna run with this hand. They could have actually called the 3 pin because they already had the Haku, but looks like they might be trying for some either extra value or just a better win.
I don't really see the push. I am a known Honitsu hater, but I don't really see the push for. You have 2 Ryanmen outside of your Honitsu suits. I feel like you didn't really need to push for that. We have a Tonki wait for Vincent. This is Ricci Dora.
Oh no,
1.
I wasn't talking about Andrew. I was talking about Andre.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was like,
I was talking about Andre as well, but I just said Andrew. Their names are too similar. I blame them. It has to be their fault, not mine. There's a Ricci from Andre, waiting 6-0, 9-0. So that is Ricci Haku versus Ricci Dora. Vince, this is such an interesting Ricci from Vince. This Tonki wait on the 2-mon.
It is. I'm not quite sure why you wouldn't wait a turn or two, because it's not like as if you were getting near the end of the hand.
I mean, it would and these shapes are so easy to get a better Tonki weight, but just wanted to get ahead of the table here.
Ironically now, or not ironically, oddly enough now, they've discarded 3 4-mons, so they won't be able to find the 4th because the 4th is sitting in Andre's hand. But yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. But you would think that maybe there could have been a wall there that maybe the 2-mon could have been saved to discard, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just deals into Andre, and that's going to put Andre above 30k and Vincent below it. Andre now in 2nd, Vincent in 3rd. And Vincent, this isn't the hand you want to see when you want to try and reclaim 2nd place. It's one of those hands where you might be forced into going Honitsu just because of how poor your shapes are.
Well, you might be forced into calling. That's the thing.
Boom.
And
with no Yaku,
you have to believe you're behind.
Especially once Andre's called twice. Although Andre does not have enough blocks despite 2 calls. Immediately draws 1 though, as soon as I say that. Why? It is funny. Whenever I see people call and they don't even have 5 blocks yet, and then they just instantly get the tile they need to get their 5th block, it always makes me just a little salty. I want people to be punished for calling twice. But Andre, a very good player, so you don't get punished for good plays. A very callable Ishanten for Andre.
Working really hard to try to make this hand usable, but there's a Ryan Conway and a Kanchan weight, and those are never great if you're trying to have a fast hand.
Pio's hand is a real struggle. I mean, it looks like it's trying to get Chitoy.
You need a pair.
地
Andrew Ishanten as well here.
Nanko, that's better.
That helps. Doesn't discard the South, though. The South is live. Feels kind of dangerous.
Is that just going to be your Tonki? You're just going to discard 4 so 7 so here?
Well, you can
Yeet.
discard. You could discard the South now. You're Tempai. More willing to push it into the Tempai, and does. Waiting on 6 so. So this is Richi Nomi. Waiting on 6 so. This hand actually has a lot of Fu. 8 Fu for the 9 mon, 8 Fu for the Pei, and 2 Fu for the Kanchan weight. So 18 plus 20 is 38. So if you Ron, that's going to be a 50 Fu hand. Nice little bump in value. There's Tempai for Andre, rating on 3 mon, 8 mon.
地
And Tempai for Andrew, waiting on 4 mon, 7 mon. 4 mon, 7 mon, 3 mon, 8 mon. Oh, but Andrew gets it, draws it. There were a lot of dangerous tiles on the table. And it was, I think, the last person at Tempai who got that win.
And once again, we see a dealer whose hand is just kind of like, it's certainly usable, but again, could be a bit on the slow side unless they can draw like something around that 6-7. Unless you draw pairs, I guess.
I feel like this hand can be substantially sped up. The 6-7, 6-7 is a little unfortunate in Manzu since it repeats itself. I feel like I would have called that 6-pin.
Well, now they could just discard the 2 Norths, go for Tanya if they want it, but they're not. And I wonder if they are actually going to...
I mean, they have 5 pairs. They're Ishanten for Chitoy.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're just looking for the Chitoy here. But, I mean, easily you could have just called for a Yakuhai hand, or not a Yakuhai, Tanya hand, and it would have been easier to call for rather than just waiting for a pair.
It'll be interesting to see what Andre does upon drawing 2 so or 5 so. Because that would make a run. Could make a normal hand more viable. Ishanten on the right for Andrew.
Well, there's your Tenpai.
You don't want to wait on either of these.
There's no way you can reach you. I mean, I know other people have been discarding Pinzu, but you haven't.
Oh, the Hatsu wait. I mean, this effectively killed both Pio and Vincent's hands.
The only reason why I don't like it is because of the fact that you're probably not going to be dealt it because there's nothing shown on the table. You are killing other people's hands.
Well, but here's the thing. Pio doesn't have to push. Since you've called Ricci, Pio could just hope it goes to exhaustive and or hope you get a small sumo and get another chance at a hand later. But if Pio's hand is worth anything, Pio's going to push, and the Hatsu looks like a perfectly fine tile to push, even if it's not safe. I mean, the chances that you're waiting on it are still low, even if it's a dangerous tile.
Yeah. It's just that I think if you want to increase the chances of a Roan here, you'd rather see something that's one cut. Now, obviously, there wasn't going to be much help here in the subsequent turns here. I mean, you could have drawn Dora, I guess, and then Ipatsu Sumo, but you didn't see that coming. But just in general, like, this is probably going to an exhaustive draw, which even, like I said, Pio will be fine with if they figure that their hand's not valuable enough. Because again, South 4 repeats, right?
Well, and here we see Pio is trying to get K10 here.
Mm-hmm. We'll probably expect to be like the Hatsu will probably be Hatsu Tonki at this point if they can somehow get it.
The South is completely live as well, though. So both the South and the Hatsu look suspect. It'll be interesting to see what Pio discards at 4 so or 7 so, either get discarded by Andrew or come into hand. 4-pin is safe.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting question of what he would do. if the question ever gets posed to him.
And it very well might not. There's an East, which Vincent to the call. East is cleared, Vincent discards it, and no Tempai for PO, so you could just discard a safe tile and
which
bounce.
is the Tumon, because that was what he called in the first place. But
might be you have time there to look at the whole table though and try to pick the safest tile for everybody. And 5-pin was also Genbutsu. It was also Nakasuji to Andrew. I didn't see what it looked like to Vincent's discard pile. But we repeat. Another shot here. Vincent's hand looking, I think, slightly worse this time than it did last hand. A lot of Kanchans in the Manzu. And Andre can accept the Dora here. Wait, the Dora 7. So I think I'm getting the names all mixed up, and I don't really know why.
And you can see Pio not calling the Hatsu because, well, I mean, at that point it's probably just Yakuhai only, and that helps him absolutely not at all.
Yeah, again, this isn't the hand that you want to see as Pio. Really, if you're Pio, what you'd like is for Vincent to deal into Andre. Get another chance.
At minimum, you just need to see Andre repeat dealership. You can worry about the rest later. Just hope you're not the one that's dealing in or anything.
Andrew definitely doesn't want Andre to repeat, though, and has a very good shot at preventing it. Has a pair of Chun.
Except it's now Mochi Mochi with Pio.
Yeah, and that's going to be rough. I wonder if you draw, say, 5-mon, whether you ditch the pair of Chun. Although if you ditch the pair of Chun, you might be worried that you're helping Pio out. Because Pio has called a 9.
Well, because this is double Yakuhai Dora, that's only 3,900? Well, yeah, that's only 3,900. With the Honba, it's 52, which still wouldn't get you anywhere, so...
Let's see. Direct off of Vincent, though, that would be 7,800.
Oh, that would be that would
plus
be enough.
13. Or plus 16, I guess. That still doesn't quite get you there.
No, it's 39. Well, no, 39 plus the 1,300 would be 52.
Right, but you're not doubling the Ricci stick. The Ricci stick only counts once. But regardless, Andrew Tempai now waiting on 5-pin Chun.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Andrew could have gone Tanya by discarding Chun here.
Whoop. There's Tempai for Andre.
Waiting on the 3-so.
Boom.
And there's the Chun after all.
And Andre can actually win this 6-pin Tanki because it's Sanshoku.
Speaking of 6-pin.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Does deal it.
So, unfortunately, the game, fortunately for Pia, the game continues. Unfortunately, he's the one that helped it continue.
Yeah, and that does make things rougher here. You're now 11K behind.
Yeah.
Even Mongon Sumo, that's 100 points shy. It'd leave you 100 points beneath Vince. It'd be kind of unfortunate. Or maybe 200. It'd be close, but not enough.
Maybe 400, I think. Wait.
You'd get 600.
It's 200.
200 of them would be from Vincent, so yeah, it'd be 200 short.
Math not working.
A great hand for Andre here, though. Is Ishanten already?
He is getting no help, unfortunately, again this time around.
Yeah, these deals just have not been what PO needs. I mean, I think if you're PO here, you maybe need to go for the Junchan Dora.
Uh-huh.
Ricci Junchan Dora Sumo, if you could get Hanuman.
That's a nice draw.
Yeah, Andre just improving the Ishanten, making it harder for others to catch up. And a nice draw for Vincent.
Yeah, there's a Shenton at this point too.
Vincent would really like a Mongon to get over that 30k threshold.
Would actually would need 2 Urador or 1 Urador and an Ipatsu, right? Ricci Tanyao Painfu needs a Dora or an Ipatsu. Or
Yeah,
Sumo.
needs two Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Sumo, Ura would be enough.
Ipatsu.
Or Ipatsu would be enough. Or if you Ron, then you would need 1 Ura or Ipatsu. Despite how early this hand was Ishanten, Andre still not Tempai. Would certainly call for it at this point.
A good number of tiles here can make him Tempai, like that one.
That one helps.
Each.
4 so, 7 so. And I don't know about that, Ricci. Would you call Ricci there?
I don't find fault with it. I mean, if you scare everybody out, right? That's another 2,000 points your way.
Yeah, but there's only 12 tiles left. You're also throwing away a Ricci stick.
You are, but you make people consider
there it is.
What to do otherwise. But yeah, that doesn't matter here.
Pinfu Nomi for Vincent. Andre deals
not
in
enough
after
to change
Ricci.
anything here, but
so Andrew gonna take the first, which was very nice after that last game, plus 31.9. Andre with a plus 12.1 in second. Vincent in third with minus 10.2. And Pio in fourth with minus 33.8. I mean, so those two Hanchan were very back and forth. I feel like we saw everybody getting action at least at some point in one of the two Hanchan. And we see Andre, Pio, and Andrew once again clustered at 3, 4, and 5, where they started.
they go to a game 3. I don't know if we wanted to stay here or switch to something else.
Yeah. Why don't we jump over to A1? Get some other action. Give all of these guys a break from being on camera. Especially since the A1 game just started, we don't really need to wait around for it unless we want a quick break.
No, we can definitely queue that up.
Yep. So the table we will be going to will be Aaron, Daniel, Garrick, and Zoo. And the
I think from what some of the prior broadcasts that we watched, unfortunately, has gone off to the wrong foot, and we'll hope to kind of right the ship here.
We're still in East 1, and we see Zoo already has 2 calls right as we enter here. Has called the West, has called the Hatsu, has Cheed 3, 4, 5 so, waiting on 6-mon, 9-mon. That is Hatsu Nomi. And the 9-mon probably going to come right out. So a very fast first hand. And once again, there's potential for calls around the table. Aaron already getting the pay.
Pom.
has the North Pawn. Zoo going onto Zuke, calling the 2-pin, has a pair of Chun in hand. Really just not wanting anybody to get their dealerships. Could actually turn this into a toy. Our dealer now, however, is Daniel. Draws a Dora West. Decides to toss the East before tossing the Dora.
Pom.
Hopefully we'll look to pair that up, I guess, and try to make the hand a little bit more valuable here.
Aaron is doing the same thing currently. Makes it a little bit tougher on both of them.
Pom.
Ishanten now for Garrick on the right. If you draw the 7-so, you can manage Tanyao Pinfu.
And I was going to say, with that 7-so over for Aaron, if they got the 7-so or the West, now you're looking at Toy as well. If they would probably love to get the West, and then you're looking at Yakuhai Toy Door 2 or 3.
Which would be Mongon minimum. All right, Garrick cutting the 8-so. This Ishanten now incredibly wide. Not all of them are good weights, however.
リーチ
That is one. So this is going to be Tanyao only. Waiting on 2-so, 5-so. A lot of the 2-so already gone.
Yeah, which means they're going to have to, they're more than likely waiting for that middle 5.
Which there's only one of those left in the wall. So one 2-so, one 5-so left in the wall. Daniel Ishanten. If you draw anything around that 5-pin that's now in hand, then you could chase with the Apeco here.
What involve a door drop, though?
スモ
Oh, there's the
You
sumo.
managed to get the last 5.
So Ricci Sumo Tanyao, no Ura, so it'll just be 4K plus the Ricci stick for Garrick. But as hand 1 was only 1K, that puts Garrick in first. And this actually a very nice hand to start. Ishanten, as a matter of fact. On deal. And now it's a pretty decent Ishanten. I don't think there's a lot of ways to make this hand especially valuable.
リーチ
I mean, now you're just going to end up 1-so, 9-so Champon, but on turn 3, that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, you have to imagine that's going to come out sometime.
Just from lack of other tiles to discard. Although they haven't really even come into people's hands yet. They're all still in the wall currently. There's a 9-so, but it fits. Zhu Ishanten. Would have to discard the 5-pin, which could become a problem. Aaron, across the way, has a confirmed Depeco in the Monzu. Could just end up with Chitoy, though. Does have 5 pairs. It's all about how you get there. Actually, Tempai now. And it's going to chase, waiting on Dora! So we have Chitoy waiting on Dora for Aaron, and we still have this 1-so, 9-so Champon for Garrick that hasn't come to fruition.
And 3 live on the wall versus the 1 for Aaron. Oh,
There's a 1-so!
1-so.
So does eventually get that win. Would have been incredibly demoralizing to lose that one. Such a good Champon so early, but is able to collect. And now has a fairly decent hand. You like your so shapes, other than the fact that they overlap. But you can work with this. Just gotta improve the 1-2 mon and the 7-9 pin, get rid of some honors. But can accept the Dora 2-so. which is all we can really ask for in life or in Mahjong. Zhu with a pair of the
There's a
East.
Penchon three mon fill for Garrick there.
That's absolutely fantastic. This would be a great opportunity for Garrick to gain some momentum. Zhu once again opting to take the quick hand. Pawns the East. Still 3 Shanten since there isn't a 5th block in there. Aaron has a very nice Tanyao hand that could easily become Pinfu. And in some situations could even turn up us on Shoku. Decides to discard the Aso. That would be a Furitin Ryanman, since the 9-So is already discarded. And would kind of encourage you to discard the Dora 2-So, which Aaron doesn't want to do here. Doesn't want to call the 6-pin either.
Just consider discarding 6-pin. They do.
There we go. Oh, that's not Tenpai yet. It's a headless Ishanten. No pair, but one away. A very wide one away for Aaron. Daniel, first to the block.
I have to imagine that Garrick's taking this 258 weight. Yep.
Man, we've got the 3-mon weight on the left for Daniel. That'd be Ipeco Dora 2. Ricci Ipeco Dora 2 for Daniel, waiting on 3-mon. We have the 258 weight for Garrick for Ricci, possibly Nomi. If you draw the final 2-So, then you would have Dora 1. And Zhu actually waiting on the 2-mon. Is Tenpai here. Oh, and there's the Sumo on the 2-So! Incredible! Ricci Sumo
Still
Dora.
low, but still 6k all, or 2k all.
And another pretty decent hand. Not fantastic shapes overall, except the 5-6-So. And a lot of your shapes are towards the edges, like the 7-9-mon and the 1-1-2-mon. But Garrick's hand can definitely improve pretty easily. Like that 3-pin draw with making another Ryanman. 5-mon is Dora, which there's one in Daniel's hand. No one else has been able to pick one up yet, though. Whenever I have a shape like Daniel has there on the left with the 1-2-3-mon, 8-9-9-mon, so something on the left side, something on the right side, and a floating 5 in the middle, even though you're not very close to Itsu, it always kind of crosses my mind as a possibility. Daniel just tossing the 8-mon, though, taking, I believe, the more efficient discard.
I mean, and you're definitely not getting Itsu now, but you can definitely get to a possible Pinfu shape here if you manage to draw the 3-So.
And you probably don't... Well, 1-3-So is already gone, so you'd really rather not wait on it.
Now, that 6-1 does help, but you've discarded the 8, so you can't really draw the 7 and then get rid of your 2-4-So.
I mean, you can.
I mean, you could. You'd be Furitin, possibly.
You just have to believe. Ishanten across the way for Aaron. Would be Pinfu.
Very good.
There's a Ryankon. I wonder if you ditch the 3-mon now. Does. Could have ditched 3-mon or 5-mon. Or 3-mon or 6-mon, rather. Waiting on 6-So, 9-So. So that's Ricci Pinfu. Still 4 of those left in the wall. 2 6s and 2 9s. There's one of them. Make that 3 left in the wall.
There's a 7.
Oh my goodness.
Now you're just sad. Uh-oh.
Each.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Gets to Tenpai, chases with Pin Foodora 1, has the more expensive hand, but is going to deal in. And there's the Ura. Gets hit for 3,900, plus some Homba. And that will put Aaron in second.
A dealer with relatively fast hands.
Yeah, our dealers stuck with some Kanchans here. Oh, but that fill-in is so good. Aaron with the quick Haku call.
Only question is will these things be enough? Oh my gosh, another one.
Yeah, these are incredible improvements for Zoo.
G.
We do see
That's
Daniel. Yeah, and Daniel across the table has a very nice hand. The confirmed Ipeko in the Sozu just needs to fill out those Pinzu and Manzu shapes.
Good form line.
Ishanten for Daniel.
You could get greedy if you're Garrick. Actually, no, wait. They already called the 1, 2, 3, so never mind.
Tenpai, Daniel waiting on Formon. Ipeko Tanyao, Dora 1.
Chi.
There's Tanya on the right.
Haku, which is almost Tanyao. Haku, Dora 1.
Each.
Waiting on 2mon, 5mon. Now the Rishi from Daniel. That second call from Aaron, making him rethink things. And immediately the other 4mon comes into Aaron's hand. Oh no.
Didn't want to discard Dora, so discard the 4 instead.
It's like Daniel knew. Daniel waited 2 turns to call Ricci, knowing that it would come into Aaron's hand in the Apatsu turn. And once again, we have a shift of fates there. Aaron unfortunately dropping into 4th, and Daniel just barely not being able to overtake 2nd is in 3rd. And in this hand, we have a very nice Manzu shape and a lot of Pinzu, but the hand really still needs to be stitched together. The hand doesn't know what it is yet. You got 3 pairs. It looks like it's going to be hard to make Pinfu unless you can draw around the 5-pin or 6-so. 2 of the Dora Hatsu are in Garrick's hand across the way. And that 5-pin is a very nice little upgrade. Unfortunately, the Hatsu are Mochi Mochi because Zoo also has 2 of them on the left. And Zoo looks closer to having a complete hand.
Well, I mean, they're Ishanten for a possible Ipeko here. And they could just stay Dama for this if they wanted. I'm not sure they would, considering that they're sitting at 27-9 and points to catch up to Garrick, but... Going to stick with that 6 or the 8-9 Sozu weight instead of the 4-6 pin weight.
Yeah, I probably would have tossed 8-9 so, but they might be considering that they can draw like a 9-mon and possibly get Sanshoku Sanshoku Chanta on top of everything else, so you don't really need it that much.
Maybe, but you're already mid-second row, and people are going to try to get to their Tenpai or maybe be Tenpai already.
And as we see, Garrick has opened Otozuke here. Ishanten now. And Aaron has also opened, although it is not Ishanten.
Daniel is Ishanten for Suanko? Question mark?
Indeed. Do you call Khan?
Khan?
Yeah. flips the Formon as the new Dora.
Chi.
Zoo also decides to go Atazuke. Competing Atazukes, but on the same Yakuhai. No one can win.
All right, let's just look over Daniel. So the 8-pin is
Chi.
Once cut.
gone.
Oh, is it totally gone? Oh, it's in Zoo's hand.
Shu has the other one.
Nine so is once in Zoo's hand.
And the 6-0 is once is one in the wall.
So a very low odds on this Suanko at this point. There's Tenpai, but can only win on the Hatsu.
Yeah.
There's Tenpai as well for Garrick, can also only win on the Hatsu.
Chi.
And Tenpai for Aaron, can win on the 6-0.
So tell me, Daniel's the only one that's not going to get Tenpai here.
Garrick draws the 7-0, but can't win.
Okay, there's a call. There's the pong. Now everybody's Tenpai.
Everybody's Tenpai. Two people are fated to just not be able to win. Both Daniel and Aaron waiting on the final remaining 6-0.
That's just everybody Tenpai.
Yep, and no points exchange hands whatsoever. And Zhu and Garrick just kind of look at each other with fists raised across the table. Wow, look at this hand though! Ishanten for Chitoy right off the bat! And it doesn't even have to be Chitoy. It'd be so easy to get a normal hand here. Draw 4-so and you have Ipeiko Pinfu.
Ipeiko, Pinfu, Roichi, Galway,
Now you just toss 3-so, 5-so, don't you? No?
Well, I thought.
Oh well, I guess you wouldn't have enough shapes. I feel like...
I still think you could have possibly done that. At least discarded 3-so maybe, but I guess we're wrong.
Yeah, 3-so, 5-so would have been bad. I do wonder about cutting maybe... Well, one of them staying a pair is good. I don't know. That'd be a good one, just kind of general efficiency to ask the experts later.
Each.
And there's Tenpai, waiting 1-so, 4-so. Your classic Pinfu wait on turn 5, having discarded only simple tiles. Because hack. And Ipeiko, forgot to save the Ipeiko again.
Only thing is, low Sozu actually still look dangerous to dealer, so...
I mean, dealer, it's just impossible to read dealer at this point. Like, everything could be dangerous.
Everything could be dangerous, but discarding the 1-4 isn't necessarily the... Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's the Ura! And just like that, Garrick no longer in first, Garrick now in second, and as a matter of fact, everybody within 40... Nope, that's not right. Everybody within 4,800 points.
Yep.
So it's South 1, repeat 2, and this is a game of Mahjong, folks. Garrick, with 2 Haku, could call for a fast hand for revenge to end Aaron's dealership if they so chose. Decides not to call Chi on Daniel's 9-pin, and immediately draws one themselves.
Chi.
And just quickly trying to get their 1,500 points and repeat the dealership, because I think they saw that their hand wasn't going to be expensive here, so just get your dealership, continue your dealership, and hope to get something better next time around.
That Haku's staying for now. It's bound to come out soon.
Chi.
There's a Chi from Daniel. That's Ishanten. 2 Kanchan waits, though, for Daniel.
Yeah, but it's got Dora too, and with the points tight as it is, a win here would definitely put them in better standing.
Ooh, Dora. That
Doing
makes the
that, you've
Haku
already
come out.
discarded the 4-pin, 5-pin, unless you're going to go Toratanki, or if you're lucky enough to draw the 8-pin back.
ポン
It's going to have to come out, right? Unless you're
Gee.
going to Tonki it, I guess. I don't know.
ポン
We'll see if Aaron's able to avoid it. Does pawn the 8-mon and is now thinking. Called that pawn.
Oh my gosh. Decided not to bite the bullet, and so we'll have to try to work around the 6-pin and not be furry 10.
So a point that other commentators have made in the past that I think is good to reiterate here. If you're in Aaron's situation where you know you're going to take this pawn, but you are, and that would have been the sumo had you been willing to discard the 6-pin, although of course it is very dangerous. If you're in Aaron's position and you know you're going to pawn, or even if you know you're not going to pawn, those 5 seconds you get to make your call, you can use to be thinking about your next move. If you're playing defense, you can be using that to wait the 5 seconds to hit no call to try and find safer tiles, or in this case, used those 5 seconds, make the call, you get another 5 seconds, and you end up with 10 free seconds to try and think of what your cut is, instead of just instantly taking the call and then only getting the 5. Just little online mahjong hacks for you. We do have the 3-so wait now for Garrick across the table. That is Haku Nomi. This is Tenpai for Zhu.
Long.
Could have actually
3-so.
avoided Furitin by taking a Champon, but doesn't.
There was never. The only thing is that the extra 3-so that Aaron had was definitely loose because of the fact that they were so unwilling to discard Dora the entire time.
Yeah, it's interesting. If Aaron had discarded Dora, would have won the hand, and it wouldn't have really ended up benefiting anybody. Even if Daniel had called it, it wouldn't have sped up Daniel's hand. Whereas holding the Dora ended up forcing Aaron to deal in. But it was a very cheap hand.
Cheap hand, but you've lost your dealership now, and with 3 hands at least left to go, I think it's a little bit disadvantageous. And now look at what
ポン
Daniel has with at least a double Yakuhai.
Well, I mean, but look at what Aaron has. What do you do with this? All right, is tossing the 7-so. So is treating all of those 9-so as 1 Anko and then 1 to complete the 7-8-9 shape. So that's Ishan 10 for Aaron.
I mean, you're gonna go greedy here. Decides not to.
I think the 9-mon is technically
Gee.
the more efficient discard there, but I don't know.
Bravo.
Because then you don't need to have. Oh, you already have a pair. What the hell am I talking about? I'm out of my mind. The 5-so's a pair. There's no 6 there. With 3 calls from Zhu waiting on 4-pin, 7-pin. A lot of which are actually in Garrick's hand on the right. Neither the Haku nor the Chun has turned up in anybody's hand for Daniel to call.
Meanwhile, Daniel looks like he says,
There it
I'll
is.
just get Toy Toy while I'm at it. Thank you.
It's hard to get
Oh no,
Toy
no,
Toy
Toy
with
Toy
the
6,
chi.
7, 8. Ah.
ロン
But I do like the spirit. The 7-pin's going to end up dealing into Zhu. Another 1,000 point hand, really quick. We've seen a lot of those. We've seen Zhu actually very willing to go for very fast, cheap hands so far this round.
Because the game is so close, and you are last dealer, so
Well, it was like that even on East 1.
could also just then be trying to manage the game in terms of like, I'm gonna call. Either you can continue to build your more expensive hands while I try to make these quicker hands, or you can play along.
Well, Zhu currently with 8 distinct terminals and honors, tossing all middle tiles. We'll see what ends up happening over there. Could end up just going Honitsu. But no! With 9 distinct terminals and honors, is going to go for the Kokoshi. The 13 orphans. But
Fair, so
Garrick has an incredibly fast hand. Well, not incredibly fast. Garrick has a reasonably fast hand here. Is Tenpai waiting on 7-so? 7-pin safe, but you're probably just going to end up folding. This is Richidora 1 for Garrick. Aaron,
Sure, now
perhaps.
with a way to possibly get a regular hand now.
Still a long ways off from that. I mean, 4 Shanten? Three
I don't know.
Shanten
I mean,
for
you're
Chitoy?
you're gonna have to discard some of the honors anyway, so it's not like as if you're sacrificing anything for it.
That's true.
Could
I
call
don't think
Plum
I'd
here.
open, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of hand that you have all these save tiles, you're just gonna not deal in with them. Yeah, it doesn't even pawn the Hatsu.
Yeah, you're getting pairs, but you would have to discard Manzu. Although you did have the one that you could have discarded, and that would have been another pair.
Daniel Ishanten. Willing to cut the one chance one so.
And another pair. She might get to Chitoy Tenpai anyways.
Not a lot of draws left, but can definitely get there. That one won't do it. It's Nakasuji, but do you trust that? No, discards the safe Dora. West is actually live. So not a totally safe push there from Daniel. And now that's Tempai for Daniel. If you're willing to discard 2 Mon, and they are, so 5 Mon 3 pin Tempai can't win it unless it's the final draw. There's a call from Aaron, which is might put them in a sticky situation with that 7 so. Doesn't end up getting what they want.
Oh yeah. When Daniel dropped the 9 so out of that 7, 8, 8, 9 shape, I wondered why they might be doing that, because if they're just starting the 9, that means the 7's probably gonna go, and yeah.
So that creates a little bit of a gap here. Still nothing major. Garrick back in, well, still in first with 36,500. Daniel now in last with 23,500. Everybody's still very close, though.
2 Onko for Garrick, decides to drop the Hatsu. I guess I can see why, but maybe you might also want to look to see if you can grab one of those Yakuhai so you could actually start calling here, because otherwise you're just going to try to fill in the remainder of your shapes here, which aren't exactly ideal.
Yeah, you're in such an awkward position with 2 Onko. Like that takes up so much space in your hand that it feels like floating Yakuhai are going to be hurting your efficiency pretty drastically.
It does, but like here you have no chance to call if you wanted to try to speed up this hand at all. So you're really reliant on your draws to help you get there.
We'll see what Garrick is able to pull in. Does keep the Dora East, which makes a lot of sense.
You're probably looking at either Dora Tonki, or if you end up with that.
Yeah. There it is.
I just said you end up being Dora Tonki, so there we are.
Another Ricci from Garrick. It's Dora Tonki, and Daniel and Zhu both have one in hand. Zhu actually Ishan 10. If Zhu's able to pick up the 8 pin, will be Dora Tonki as well for full straight Dora 2. Just has to, discard all the other unsafe tiles first. Is discarding that 9 pin, as a matter of fact, towards that end. Are you willing to push anything into this? I mean, there's not much in the way of save tiles. Certainly not in your hand, not without dismembering it.
There isn't, but like if the East is going to be stuck in your hand.
This is Tempai for Daniel, but only if you discard the East. Not willing to do so.
Not happening. Not with dealer. Not with dealer. Ricci, I couldn't see it.
チ
All right, there's a chi from Aaron. Aaron's been trying really hard to fight these past few hands. Done a very good job of fighting despite holding bad tiles in hand. Has not dealt in those conditions yet. But also hasn't been able to make something of those fights. Has a better chance this time. There's only one more dangerous tile left in the wall.
カン
I imagine you conned that because you thought it might be danger. Oh no! Wait, no, the 8. He already discarded the 8.
Yeah, this would be Furiton if you called Ricci,
Yeah,
so
you can't.
might be
you
safe.
Can't do that.
Oh, and there's
Oh.
the East! Alright,
Well,
so
you've
no
already broken
sumo
up your
for
hand,
Garrick.
so yeah.
Yeah, so Zoo's just gonna keep playing
Eat.
defense. Oh, there's Timpai! Another Doratonki! Zoo has all the deal-in tiles for 2 Doratonkis.
And should not be relinquishing either of those.
Oh, certainly not. It's just gonna be hard to find safe tiles here. The 3-pin is good. Oh god, this is so painful.
Chi.
And Aaron keeps making calls. Is not really anywhere near Timpai here. It almost seems like
Ishan
Aaron's...
10. There Ishan 10.
I mean, yeah. At what cost?
1,500 points.
Is the answer. Well, it would have been 1,500 points anyway. 2 Dora in Aaron's hand to start here, but also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 distinct terminals and honors. The 2 Dora probably
You have
looking
2
a
Dora.
lot more appetizing though.
You have 2 Dora and possible if you draw some more Sozu or even some of your honors.
Ooh,
You
this
had Honitsu, but that 7 mon probably kills that.
yeah, I could still get Chanta, but you don't really need it. You've got 2 Dora. That would be enough to
Yeah.
put you in first.
Yeah, this is just normal. Call it Hatsu if you ever get it.
Although, is that already Tempai from Daniel? It is, waiting on the 3-mon. Can't win it, but is Tempai. The only improvement here is the 5-mon. Okay. Discards.
No, this is actually better because now you can even get the 4 or the 2. Or even the 3.
Taking the wider Ishanten often helps. This is actually Ishanten for Aaron as well.
Boom.
And there's the Hatsu. Now there's Tempai for Aaron waiting on 3-pin.
Carding Pinzu to what you see out there.
ポン
And then we have a poem from Garrick.
I mean,
Oh.
apparently Garrick might have to, all things considered. They'll have to probably drop the 7
Sumo.
for their 10 fight.
But
But it doesn't
3-pin
matter.
And there's the Mongon. That's first place going into South 4 for Aaron. Garrick still above 30k though, despite the Oyakabari, despite paying 4,000 points for that sumo.
Who has this? I mean, they drew Dora, but we need to have some shapes fill in quickly here. Garrick could just take their 2nd place and run with it here if they wanted to. I wonder if they're just hesitating, thinking about discarding that East. Because they just want to get a Yakuhai out of this, possibly, with no East discarded yet.
Well, oh, right. Zoo is dealer.
Yeah.
I got tripped out. But that's okay. That's not abnormal.
Pair, but you still have that awkward 1-1-3 shape.
You can work with this, though. You can make something.
You can work with it. I'm not saying you can't. It's just that, you know, if you're looking for an ideal weight, a final weight here somewhere,
Ooh.
this isn't helping.
Chi.
It almost would have been better when you had the 4-so in hand. I guess the 7-so had already been discarded, but with 4-so in hand, had you discarded 1 mon?
I might consider 1 mon discard there, because with that 8-pin draw, yeah, you have some overlap, but I mean, your hand becomes callable in a way, I think, because you could discard 9-pin, 9-pin, and the other 1 mon if necessary, and try to go for some Tanya shape hand, especially if you're worried that Aaron's trying to beat you with a punch here.
Aaron is Tempai now, waiting on the 7-mon. Took the Chi, trying to end things in first. At no point did the 5-pin con. Ishan 10 for Daniel across the way.
I mean, if you're anybody else right now, you have to be worried that Aaron is Tenpai, and they are.
Home.
Ooh, takes the pawn? Likes the 8. Well, this 8-mon's dead.
Chi.
I think they're just looking for a Tonki weight and then possibly shifting it to something else. If they get the Hell weight 8, that's fine.
But it's not a hell weight. It's a dead weight. It's a 0
Oh,
weight.
it's a dead weight. They called the other one, yeah. I keep on missing the calls. I'm not sure what I'm doing today.
Home.
All right. Calling for K10.
There's your Tenpai. Although the 3s are gone.
Yeah, but you can also win on 4 and 6.
Oh, there's a 6.
And there's
there you go. Garrick is perfectly fine with this. Stays over 30,000.
Garrick actually okay with this as well. If dealer goes on a spree and sumos a couple times, it'd be very easy for you to drop into a negative 3rd. But with that, Garrick's able to keep the positive 2nd, which, I mean, you would have preferred 1st place to help you start digging out of your deficit, but good momentum starts small. So a very good result.
Given the fact they've not finished top 2 until this time, until this game, I think you'll take anything, and so this is definitely a win.
Oh yeah, certainly. Daniel with a very even spread, a very even distribution of placements here. 2 firsts, 1 second, 2 thirds, and 2 lasts. Aaron, on the other hand, is pretty dominant right now in A1. It does not have the top score, but does have 5 first places out of 7 Hanchan, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I'm guessing most of those are like kind of what you're seeing here, a little bit on the lower side of a 1st place, and so got offset with that 4th place.
Yeah. There are currently 5 games going on. I don't know what's gotten into people on Wednesdays, but it just seems like a very nice day to play Mahjong games.
I was originally scheduled to play on Wednesday, but unfortunately we had to reschedule, cancel that, so we're playing our games tomorrow. Otherwise, we'd be here too.
Yeah, it would actually be really nice. We have been so focused on this game, we haven't been able to see what's going on, but
so
Nathaniel,
let's go ahead and toss it over to our director, Nathaniel, here.
While Nathaniel does that, I'm going to run away very quick and then come back. but we can trust things in Nathaniel's hands.
That's right. I've been watching all the other games that have been going on. Well, all the ones that that you all have been seeing have been going on, and indeed, Aaron has been racking up the points. Here are the end screens for the recent games. It has been Aaron just charging ahead. The first game of this 3 games so far, Aaron picked up a plus 41.5 in the first one, with Shu grabbing the second place with a positive 8. And in the next game, Aaron, another first place, a smaller one. This one was a lot tighter. In fact, it was Shu winning a big sumo at the end of the Hanchan to grab second place over 30,000. And then we just saw the third game with Aaron taking the lead again for another first place finish. So far, only Aaron has been grabbing first place in the series. They have another game that's set to start in about 3 minutes. We might even be watching that one. In the rest of the league, there was an A2 matchup that we did not get to watch. I know the first match we covered was the table with Andrew and Pio and others. But there was another A2 match going on with Matthew, Kaz, Alex, and Ada in the order that you see on the screen here. Matthew grabbing the first place in the first match and Kaz taking the second there. But in the game that followed, it was this incredible tsumo by Matthew in all last, Richi Putz Tsumo Chitoi Dora 2 to snatch, to move over 30,000 and almost take first place. Ended up still being third after all was said and done, but only by 800 points did Matthew fall behind Ada and 500 behind Alex. So incredible finish to that game, where all 3 players, Ada in first, Alex in second, Matthew in third, all over 30,000. And unfortunately, Kaz taking 4th place with 27,000 points. Incredibly unfortunate there, but a very minimal 4th place there. We saw I believe this is a B3 matchup with Ryan, Christine, Henry, and I'm forgetting Sir Mr. Guy, but they played 2 games here. I think the last one is still in progress, so we'll wait to see what happens at that game. And this game was incredible from A2 as well. Riley, Matthias, John, and Peter had an incredible finish to this one as well. Look at this Sananko to finish the game. Peter already in first place, did not even declare the Richi. Just imagine what could have happened with 2 Uda chances, but pulled this huge sumo at the end of the game to really rack up the points. Peter with a plus 40 when all was said and done, and John finishing second there. They're playing their second game here in South 3, and it looks like it is John in second place and Riley with the lead, so 2 players definitely pulling away there. In a singleton game in B3, we had a big finish here by Chef McM, and Rob had a very nice second place. Look at these scores, 59,000, 49,000 for first and second. And the other players taking the big hits. Really a battle between first and second, and third and fourth in this one. And they only played 1 game. The other tables that were in action were that 8-2 match that we started with, continued playing to all 4. And in this game, it was actually Andrew in game 3 pulling in the Richi Dora Uda 3 in all last to grab a Mongon to steal away first place here.
From last, no less.
From last, indeed. So Andrew with a 21.8, erasing the deficit for the first game. Pio with a nice second place, and Vincent with a positive third here leaves Andre in fourth with a negative 30. And I believe they are playing one final game to determine what the results will be for this table, currently in East 2. And it looks like a small lead for Vincent, but still early days there. And that's it. That's all the games that have happened so far tonight.
Well, thank you for that recap, Nathaniel. That was incredible. I cannot believe you were able to keep track of that all.
And it's not like as if we're even done. There's 3 more games that have still yet to start.
Absolutely. Have we decided on watching the next game? Is it going to be that A1 match continuance?
We do have like kind of the half-spoken, like almost courtesy of doing the same table for 2 in a row. But I see that the B3 table that just started does have both Garth and Taka at it, and I am so tempted to request a switch.
Say no more. We're
I
switching
mean,
over.
you actually have both of the pros, both of the Japanese Professional Mahjong League pros. They both are in game, or they should be in game. Jen's
Yeah,
actually with
Jen.
Alon from USPML as well. So both pros are in action as we speak.
We'll closely watch those. I've just made the executive decision to hop into that game with Garth and Takahiro, but we'll definitely be keeping a close eye on the other one as well.
Also at this table is Dabian, who is our toyman here, who is starting off west. Taka is on the left, Garth is on the right with all those E's. And I believe this is Jai that we are sitting behind at East as our first dealer.
Yes.
Pom.
And Jai actually Ishanten here. We do see an early Haku call across the table. That's actually Ishanten for Chanta Sanshoku Haku, as a matter of fact. This thing's already scary at this table somehow. And that is Damien across the way.
Pom.
A pawn from Taka going for Tanyao is Ishanten. This is okay. Damien going to force the Sanshoku. You could discard the Chun and have the 8-9 Pinchan and the 1-3 Kanchan, and whichever one fills first, you discard away from the other to keep your Chanta and get to Tenpai a little bit easier. But really wants to get the Sanshoku as well. We do have Tenpai for dealer waiting on 3-pin. No Richi yet. And now we have dealer leaving Tenpai.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they can definitely find a better way, but I think the 3-2 so's will probably cannibalize any better way they're gonna get out of this.
Well, I mean, the 3-pin was especially bad. Like, that 2 were already discarded. There's only 2 left. Now we're waiting on 2-so, 9-so Champon, which again, this is a hell weight. And the only 9-so remaining is being held by Damien across the way. You almost just need to draw a middle tile and discard one of those 2-so, and then take your Kutsuki Ishanten, which is any Ishanten where you have a middle tile just waiting to create a block.
I mean, you just take the 3-so in your Tenpai, right?
Each.
There we go. It's going to take the hell weight here. Can only win on 9-so. Garth breaking a
decides to break.
Patsu. Oh,
Yep.
God. But has San Anko in hand. Has 3 5-pin, 3 5-so, and 3 Sha, 3 Wests. Is waiting on the 1-so.
Which is still 2 live.
Garth does not call Khan, of course. As fun as that would have been.
Theoretically, could have had the sumo if they decided to drop the door, but you don't here.
Yeah, I mean, one so does not look safe. We have 2-mon, 5-mon Tenpai for Taka on the left.
Now, Damien sidesteps that for now. And looks
draws
like
a
we'll
6.
get a chance to permanently sidestep this.
Discard 9-mon, maybe? It's safe.
Discard 9-8.
Oh, there's the 1, but that's Dora.
He can't drop that.
Yeah, Taka's a relatively defensive player. Alright, and we're going to go into this with 2 Tenpais. Our dealer Jai and Garth. So going into East 1, repeat 1.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking at Jai's hand and being like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Was able to get, was able to get a repeat despite not having the best shaves last hand. So I'm really curious what they're able to make of this one.
홈,
But you have two people who can call, and Garth's going to go Otazuke as we speak.
Yeah, has a Dora 7mon in hand as to go with those two Haku.
Fills in the god.
Oh my god. That's pro
a
luck right there.
away from Taka there with the East.
Yep. Takes it immediately.
Yeah, if you're Jai, I don't know. You're probably thinking you're behind. No, with that call, you're definitely behind.
4-so, 7-so Tempai for Garth. For Haku Dora 1. No Pon from Taka. Now Taka would take the Pon. Oop, there's 7-so. It doesn't fit into hand. There's a lot of thought into it.
There's other stuff you could discard. Wow, Taka just deciding to shift to keep that 7-so for now, even though it doesn't fit either.
That's such a nice dodge. It's gonna come out of Damien's hand first. So it's just a 2,300 point deal in because of the Honba. Garth also getting the Rishi stick. And we're gonna move on to East 2.
Garth's hand.
God, double East and the Hatsu.
And a Dora.
And
like,
Dora.
That's 12,000.
Yeah, when 3-so has become unnecessary to the hand on turn 2, is going to keep the Haku and the Chun around. You never know when something might turn into a Yakuman unexpectedly. But around the table, I mean, it looks like Jai, now that Jai's no longer dealer, oh my god, another Chun. This is nonsense from Garth.
Get rid of those Monzu ASAP.
Jai's hand looking much better as non-dealer, though, than they did as dealer. Has an Anko of the 5-so, has a couple of Ryanmen, a 5-5-7-9-9 pin shape that is pretty flexible.
Now, see, here's what I'm talking about with Taka. Taka's keeping all his honors because my guess is that the only way he thinks he can finish his hand is with Otazuke. If he can just pair any of those up, he can at least call. Little does he know that three of those honors that he's holding, Garth has a pair of.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, actually. Taka's decision to hold on to all those honors is severely hampering Garth's hand at the moment. And if Taka discards one, it's gonna be the West because it's already twice cut. Oh, but
okay, so Garth gets it out here
anyway.
So here's the thing. Then this is the point that you implicitly made there. You know, you can get rid of those honors, but if your hand is slow, all you're doing is potentially speeding up everybody else's hands. So that's another argument to why you might want to keep those honors, so you might get the pair, so that then you can call for your own hand if the rest of your hand is slow anyways, or is going to be just a Ricci at the end anyways.
And it is worth pointing out that oh my god.
What is this?
That is just clown behavior.
Are you kidding me? Now this is really bad, because now those, if Taka wants to continue with their hand, they're gonna have to discard those honors. And they don't see any.
They see none. I bet. Oh, there's the green.
So double Yaku. No. Quadruple Yakuhai, Honitsu, Shosanga, and one Dora. How much is that?
That's a dealer Baimon. That's a 24,000 point hand. If you draw the 9-so, it becomes a 10 hot hand. No, because you have to
Sumo.
discard Dora. Oh, she's so close to it. Hell. Bro.
Excuse me while I just guac. Where did you get that? Just stupid ridiculous.
Like, just all of the draws there were just god tier draws for Garth. And that was the last Haku.
That was the last
Taka-
Haku, yeah.
Taka was choking the Chun, was not discarding the Chun, was mahjong dealing in. One of the Haku had already been discarded, and Garth just draws the last Haku. Pro Mahjong just looks like pure flow.
Oh my gosh.
We have an early pawn from Taka across the way with the 8-pin. Has one of the Dora Forso in hand. Also has a pair of the Yakuhai Sha. Yeah, these hands have been incredible for Garth. I mean, but everyone's hand is pretty good here. I mean, Taka has a very workable hand. On the right, we see that is not quite Tenpai for Damien. Damien is E-Shanten? No, 2-Shanten.
There is some Song Anko Suanko ability on the right there.
There we go. Ishan for Suanko. One 3-mon already discarded. I mean, with one 3-mon already discarded, if I see any of my tiles coming out, I'm calling pawn and just taking the Toy. You can still get Sananko on Sumo. And with two of the callable tiles being in Manzu, that seems pretty helpful for Damien. I mean, Manzu looks incredibly cheap right now. Taka refusing Tenpai. Could have just carded 3-so and had a 7-so weight. Does not want it, though. Oh.
Yeah, there's your call.
Yeah, for some reason I was thinking that 8-pin was a Yakuhai, but 8-pin's definitely not Yakuhai. So has to have the Sha. Could Chi here. Does. Oh, but do you discard Dora? Yeah. Discards Dora. Is now Atazuke waiting on the Sha, while Damien can win on either the 3-mon or the 5-so.
Should be a 1-pin discard, right? Oh, no, discards the 4-pin. That's interesting.
1-pin is totally safe.
Yeah. Been sitting on this Ishan 10 for a while now.
There's
Tenpai. It's his Tenpai, not exactly in the way you'd
Yeet.
expect.
It is going to call Ricci, waiting on 4-so, 7-so. It's Ricci Nomi unless you win on the 4-so. Oh, the Sha comes into Damien's hand immediately. Damien, thinking long and hard about this, could fold out with the 1-so, and does!
Folds out.
Damien avoids the deal-in. Is Jai going to avoid the deal-in, though? Yep, discards 2-so. Oh, Taka folds,
Sumo.
drawing the 5-mon. And then there's the Dora Sumo!
Dora Sumo!
Oh, God. 2,600 all, plus an extra 100 for the Homba. And we go again. East 2, repeat 2. For having 7 distinct Turnals and Honors, this hand is really not that bad. You've got a couple of Ryanmen, a pair of 5-pin, which could easily become something more valuable. Even your 9-pin is next to the 8-pin Dora.
On pin.
Home.
Gets rid of the East because you already had one out, so it's going to be hard to fit. Now you finish your 5, 6, 7.
And there was a comment in the chat that this is A1 level defense. And just a reminder, this is B3. This is the beta league pool here.
You do have Garth and you do have Taka, so you could argue, yeah, that there is some.
Well, I mean, Damien and Jai, though, are both also playing very well so far. I don't know either of them. Like, I have no idea who they are, but I'm very impressed so far. Their scores are really just complete misfortune with the dealer by Monsumo from Garth.
About an 8-1 for Garth, right?
I mean,
I'm trying to force to call a shot here, but just like the way things going, how about just giving him an 8-1 for fun?
Damien does already have the East Pawn. Still 2 Shanten, though. Actually, is that... Yeah, that's 2 Shanten. Ooh, the 3-mon is such a good draw for Taka. E Shanten for Taka now.
Interesting Garth that hesitated on the north there. I don't think it's because somebody would call. I think he was wondering whether or not he needed a safe tile.
Seven pin's a good draw for Damien. And it's a good draw for Jai. Does keep the Hatsu this time. That's Tempai for Damien on the right. Just discard 4-pin, and now we're waiting on 3-mon.
Says an awkward draw. Probably should just kick that back, but doesn't.
The one so? Why not kick 8-pin? Oh, it's Dora. That's why. Because it's Dora.
Yeah.
That's obviously why you don't kick it back. You'd really like to have the 7-pin.
Garth probably would just be fine calling here. And oh, never mind. There's your. Oh, that's
not Tempai. That's Ishanten. But there's the sumo for Damien. Going to end this dealership. And finally, we move on to East 3. It wasn't a lot of repeats, but the couple of repeats that we did have were pretty devastating. We're going into East 3 with everybody except for Garth and the teens. Damien's hand is okay.
Kanchan there. But Garth and Jai have Yakuhai that they can call.
And let's not miss Taka having 5 pairs. Including a Dora pair.
You'd have to figure You'd have to figure at least in this case he considers Cheetoy. I don't know how often he considers Cheetoy, but
yeah, well, I mean, Cheetoy seems like the option here, if for no other reason than you just don't have good calling pairs. The 9-pin's nice, the 8-so's okay, but you're not really going to expect to get another Dora or another 3-mon or another 5-pin.
No, but I mean, you have the 3-3-4 shape and the 5-5-6 shape, so technically you could turn them into Ryanmen. But yeah, this is definitely. I mean, with the 6-pin discard, we're definitely looking at a full Cheetoy push here.
Eight pin better than Haku at this point.
Yeah, but if you discard the Haku here, it looks a little odd because, you know, unless people can actually pin you on thinking that you were trying to go for like Yakuhai or something, the discards already look a little strange.
Boom.
There's the tune for Garth. Ishanten for Garth now.
Boom.
And there's the poem from Taka.
So forgets up the plan on Cheetoy with Garth calling. We'll try to go with the Toy to beat him.
Yeah, you need some way to catch up. Figure Chitoy might be too slow.
And Garth finds his tempo after all.
5 so, 8 so. Chun Nomi. This could actually become Sanshoku now for Jai. Discard 2 pin. He's going to discard the Easts instead.
Figuring that to be safer. I mean, you figure with 2 calls, Garth is probably... You might have to pick Garth as being Tempai, so...
And you don't see any 7-mon on the table. Oh, yes, you do. You see 3 of them. You see the Dorapon from Taka. There's another 5 so. It's not unusable in the hand, though.
Well, not anymore. And you could have technically cheated there, discarded 1/2, so I guess if you wanted to. But again, do you really want to discard that into Garth, even with that 4-so discard? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you know Garth doesn't have the value here. If you deal in with a So tile, like it's at most Yakuhai Dora 1, right? Unless they have something weird and surprising.
And I think that's what some people kind of forget when they think about playing defense. It's just like, how expensive is the hand that I'm trying to fight here?
Ooh.
Or that I'm trying to bail away from here.
Because really, you want to bail away from Taka. And that 2-so was safe to Taka. But this is Ishanten now for Jai. Just need a pair. Taking the headless Ishanten. And this is the problem with Toy with tiles like this. Just kind of Ishan or 2 Shanten for forever. Now Ishanten, but not for Toy. And actually doesn't end up Tempai at all. Garth ending up the only person Tempai, adding to the lead. And we didn't mention it earlier, but all 4 of these players are right in promotion range. Garth and Damien currently would be at the playoff table between B2 and B3 if everything ended here. Jai and Taka are right on their heels. So this could be a pretty influential set of Hanchan, given who their opponents are. That's a great draw for Taka. Has 2 complete shapes now. Is lacking 5 blocks, which is the only thing that makes this 2 Shanten. Now is
Garth has
Ishanten.
pairs. Well, 3
Not
pairs and an
anymore.
Anko now.
4 pairs. Four pairs and Upon.
Oh, he does have 4 pairs. He had 5 pairs. He was already Chitoy Ishanten?
These are slightly better calling tiles. The 1-so and the 9-so are much better to pawn than the tiles Taka got last. And with the East being Yakuhai, you could hold the 7-pin if you wanted. Doesn't.
You could.
Because you don't have any value if you don't get Toy here.
Some would wonder, does Garth really need value? And generally the answer is yes. If you saw what happened to Garth last year in that one tournament he played in JPML, which the name escapes me, he lost in South 4 because somebody decided to sumo Suanko. So no lead is big enough.
Yeah, we did have a question in the chat about what that 2-3 means and the 3-4 below it in the standings. And if you just to clarify, it's already been answered in the chat. Those are the playoff spots. So the people who come in 4th and 5th from Pool B will play the people who come in 4th and 5th from Pool A. And the top 2 players at that table will move up to B2. The bottom 2 will stay in B3. Similarly, for 12th and 13th in the 2 pools, the top 2 will stay in B3. The bottom 2 will move down into... Is it going to be B4 or C1?
No, it's a new C1. The way
C1?
they kind of
Okay.
the way that they number the leagues in Japan is that it's like each letter. If you think of A as 1 and B as 2, will have as many levels as the letter plus 1. So there's A1, A2, and then B1, B2, B3. And then if we have a C, we're going to have a C1 next season. And then if you keep on going from there, it'd be C1, C2, C3, C4. And then somehow, if we ever get that big, well, then it'll be a D1.
I mean, that's pretty wild to imagine. That would be so much growth. It'd be really cool,
Yeet.
though. There's a Ricci from Jai on the right, waiting on 2mon, 4mon. This is
Garth
Ricci Pinfu
Does not deal
Dora.
in.
Both Garth and Taka drawing deal-in tiles on the Apatsu turn. Neither of them dealing in, though. Damien trying to find something in hand to discard. The 1mon is totally safe.
3-so is not.
Three pin is Suji.
So safe.
If Taka draws 1-so or 4-so, might be in danger here. One pin, also Suji, but it is Dora. And Dora Suji, not typically very good.
Garth can get away maybe the Chi, but looks like he'll just hold out? Question mark? Nope, there's the 2 after
deals
all.
in! So that's going to be Ricci Pin Fudora, no Ura. So that's 4,200 points from Garth to Jai because of the Homba. And Jai now in second.
I wondered about that because I know that it would cause Garth to lose value, but he could have. I guess he could have cheated that if he had thought the 2mon was dangerous to begin with. Could have just called the 4 and then tried to take his chances with the 3, but. It's going to be quick, relatively quick. Yakuhai possible Yakuhai Dora one hand here.
The 9-so kind of redundant in hand currently. The only issue with the Hatsu, well, not anymore. You just draw it. I was gonna say the only issue with the Hatsu is that it's your only pair right now. But when you draw the third one, you don't really care.
No, but you can just call 3-6 pin here and just wait for 3-6-so if you'd like.
Yeah, that'd be perfectly fine. That Nobitan weight, as we mentioned earlier. There's a 2-mon Anko for Damien. Taka drawing more So tiles. Hasn't fully forced the Honitsu yet. Is still hedging there. A great draw for Garth. Discards 9-pin. Could shift towards
10.
6, 7, 8, or 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku.
Yeet.
Yep.
There's Tempai for Jai. Waiting on
There,
3, so 6.
on the 3-6 like we were talking about earlier.
So this is Ricci Hatsu Dora 1. And 4 of the winning tiles are in Taka's hand. 2 of them are in Jai's, one's in Garth. There's only one tile left in the wall for Jai. And it is a 6-so.
They're strange. It's like you think it's like, oh, I have plenty of tiles, and no, you don't.
Yeah, I mean, at turn 7, you can't really expect this. Garth approaching the 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku now. What's the discard gonna be here? Just tosses the 4-mon right back.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could have thought about Ipeco, but the Sanshoku is just much more valuable.
Just keeps drawing dangerous tiles, but is willing to toss the 7-so as well.
봄,
And it's gonna get pawned by Damien.
Another Sota for Taka. Garth gets finally
the
paid
8.
off here.
But that's not the Sanshoku tile.
치,
Nope.
win
So
on-
you go Dama. You're just gonna take your Pinfu and win if you'd like. Bail
Yep.
if you don't need to.
3-mon, 6-mon. Doesn't get it there. Taka could have dealt in. 3-pin, 6-pin for Damien. Oh no. Is Damien gonna
Yeah.
deal in?
Don't.
Damien does. So Richi Hatsudora. No Ura, but 7,700's a pretty big hit here.
Yeah, you're starting to see some separation here from the bottom three.
Yeah, Jai just 200 away from that 30K threshold. And whenever one player gets above 60,000, getting above 30,000 is a feat at that point.
Yeah, because literally everybody else is just playing damage control at that point. Get your better placement, but just try to mitigate how many points you've lost here.
We've got decent hands for Jai and for Damien, especially with that 6-pin draw. Just getting rid of the honors now. Can't incorporate the Dora 8-mon, but that's okay. Damien across the table also has a pretty decent hand. One complete shape in the Pinzu. A Ryankan and Sozu and a nice 6/6/7-mon shape.
So now Jai does have the ability to call here for the Yakuhai in addition to probably what they were originally thinking was a Tanya.
Oh, that 7-so is a great pool for Taka, filling in the Kanchan and the Sozu.
Yeah, but this also means that the Haku is probably coming out soon here, which will give Jai the key to start calling and finishing the hand.
Jai tossing a 2-mon, keeping the 5-pin, gives a shape that can create a lot of side weights in the Pinzu. A lot of Ryanman possibilities with that 4-5-5-6. The Nakabukure, as it were.
That's Garth's second Anko.
Yep, that's Ishanten for Garth. Could get Sananko if they are able to get the 6-pin or the 1-so.
Oh,
강,
6-so, the new Dora. The drawn tile not helpful to Garth. Now we've got a nice shape in the Sozu for Jai.
5-mon all knowingly gone now. It makes tiles useless like the 8-mon that Damien drew, because they know now that the only way to improve that 6-7-8-8 shape would be to draw another 8.
Which could be a pretty tall task. Another 7-pin for Damien. Just tosses it right back. Taking
It's
the
an
higher
opportunity
probability.
for a Tanyao, but
Taking the improved chance of Pinfu instead. A con of the 5s is just really dastardly, huh?
yeah, it really did make the Dora useless, and even Garth at this point was just like, I don't need it, pitch it.
Ishanten for Jai.
That's Tenpai.
리치,
And it's calling Ricci. So 6-pin 1-so on a sumo. This will be San Anko, 3 concealed
Oh,
triplets.
the 1-so was dangerous because of the 4-so he discarded earlier. Oh boy. Oh, that's a
Riichi, Apatsu, Ura.
But it's Mongon.
Classic 3-Han Mongon. You see it all the time.
That was if you think about it, it was an excellent trap just because like I noticed right before the deal, it's like, wait, the 4-So's out there, and then I look later on, it's like the 4-So's out, the 2-So's out. Garth has discarded everything around that 1-So, so it's like surely this is fine. And now Garth is a Honitsu in the Dora suit.
Doesn't have a lot of blocks yet, but a lot of room to make them.
Also, nobody else knows that.
That's true. That is one thing that is very important about Honitsu. Even if you don't have all your shapes, no one else needs to know that you don't have your shapes. Jai discards the 1-So. Has nice shapes in their hand. Manzu's a little messy, but
like if you're seeing Garth's discards, you're just like, really? Is this really a Honitsu and Sozu? Do I really have to deal with this? And the answer is yes. Yes, you do. And I understand why you don't call that as Garth, but it would have still like started. I think you could have also just continued the charade by saying, yes, this is what you think it is. Be afraid.
リーチ
yeah, continue bluffing. But this is the issue. Damien has a quick Tenpai. 4-So Tanki.
Chitoy.
Forso is such an interesting Tanki here.
Well, I think the other thing is that if you are paying Garth on a Honitsu, like, he won't have much else to discard other than probably Terminals and Sozu. So
And something
maybe
that
he might have to discard the 4.
That's true. And something that I feel like we don't talk about all that much with the weights people choose is if Garth does have the Honitsu, which he
リー
does,
チ
you can't deal in on 4-So if you're waiting on it. That's one way to avoid dealing in, is to just win on the tiles your opponents need. We do see Tenpai for Jai waiting on 1-Mon, 4-Mon, that is Riichi
Garth.
Penfu.
Tenpai on the 3.
スモ
Oh, there's Sumo though! No Ipatsu because of the poem. But Riichi, Sumo, Penfu, and 1 Ura. So that's going to be 1,300, 2,600 for Jai, and Jai now above 30k, and Damien in the negatives.
That was an extra actual fight that, like you were mentioning, it's an extra 5k hit to Garth for that, or a 5-point hit, basically.
Because of the floating Uma.
Yep.
Damien already Ishanten.
Yep, Ishanten for nothing other than continuing their dealership, which really is all that matters for them right now.
Right. And that's one thing, like, Damien needs a lot of value, but when you are so far behind, take the value when it comes. If you have the ability to repeat, even though it's not going to catch you up, just getting to see another hand is so valuable at this point.
Yep.
And now we are perfect Ishanten for Damien. Around the table, though, are also fast hands. I mean, on the left, Garth has a pair of Chun, an Anko of 5-So, a complete shape in this of 5-Mon, rather, and a 5-6-7-So already complete. On the right, Taka is 2 Shanten, just needs to get rid of probably a pair. And then across the table, we have a headless Ishanten for Jai. So even though it's only the end of the first row, everybody's close here. That's Tenpai for... Nope, that's not Tenpai.
What? Oh, that must be a misclick. That's gotta be a misclick.
The 8-pin was next to the 4-So.
ポン
Yeah, the 8-pin...
That is an unfortunate misclick.
Yeah, it sucks when it happens. It feels so bad, especially when this game's already been so awful at really no fault of Damien's. Hey, but there's Tenpai. Got it right back. 4-Mon, 7-Mon.
There's some justice in the world for at least for now.
That's Tenpai for Jai, waiting on 2-Mon. If they decide to take it, they're gonna Dama. They can't win this Dama, but they are Tenpai.
リーチ
There's Tenpai for Taka, waiting 2-Mon, 5-Mon. This is Riichi, Penfu, Dora 2. So a pretty massive hand for Taka. And there's the 7!
There's a sumo.
Damien gets the sumo right when Taka gets to Tenpai with the potential Mongon.
Oh, hey, it worked out. Extra 1,000 points. Bonus.
And here we have another hand that could be called pretty quick. It's probably not going to be worth much. You could make a whole Nitsu, but more than likely you're just going to end up with the Yakuhai.
You just take what you can get. Get your Yakuhai. Try to get a better Hi-Fi again.
And once again, you're going to be racing people. I mean, Jai across the way has 2 complete shapes and a pair of Chun. Now a Ryoncon. So, I mean, that hand is blazingly fast. Garth doesn't have much, though. And Taka's hand has good shapes, but they're not incredibly fast ones. That 2-pin is a great fill for Damien. Does not take the North Pawn. Actually, now could get Chanta.
That is understandable why you might not take it, because then people would wonder what you're playing for, and so you might be less likely to get the Yakuhai that you need. You could theoretically bluff a Honitsu with that call because you hadn't discarded any Pinzu yet, but I mean, you do need this hand to finish.
Yeah, if another North comes out, I do think you take it. Especially now that you can play Chanta.
Yes, now especially since you can play Chanta now, it's definitely more playable that way to call the North.
But we just haven't seen.
Because it's slow, it allows other people to try to catch up with their hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, this hand isn't slow. The draws have just been trash. The Haku is still buried somewhere. No one's even drawn it. We have Tuso Tenpai for Jai now. Hatsu Dora 1. That's not Hatsu. That's Chun. Chun Dora 1. Taka, now Tenpai. 4-pin, 5-pin. That's a Shampon. Richi Nomi.
Garth probably can't. Oh, does push the 3-pin.
I mean, is that... I feel like that's Sasha Komi. Like, push doesn't quite feel like the right word because Garth doesn't have anything. Like, Garth is still very, very far away from completing a hand. Discard 8-9
there were I would say discard 8-9 so, for instance, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like push kind of insinuates that Garth is trying to win the hand, and I don't think Garth is. Like, I think that was an attempt to deal in. Now playing the safe 6, though.
Yeah, that's true.
There's the 5-pin sumo. So that's just going to be Richi sumo. No Ura. But that makes 3rd place a lot easier for Taka to claim. Now begins the quest for 2nd. Damien might have to do a little bit of math here, but Hanuman Sumo would be enough to take 3rd for Damien. So that's going to kind of be Damien's goal score, unless you can make a Mongon you can Dama and try to hit Taka with.
You mean get 3rd? You said 3rd. Okay, sorry.
I might not have said 3rd. We'll assume I didn't say 3rd. We'll assume I said 7th. Is Taka gonna take this? Does. Takes the pawn. This more than likely this is just Tanya with the 2-3-4 in hand, but could still become Toy Toy technically.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to get there without too much effort, yeah, you'll take it.
If you draw like 3-so or 4-so, particularly.
Yeah.
An Akko of 1 mana in Garth's hand, but fairly nice shapes. 5/7/9 pin, 7/8/9/9 so, 3 so.
You mean Damien Ishan 10, but Ishan 10
Yep.
for nothing, unfortunately.
ポン
I mean, Garth is Ishan 10 for Junchan now. Do you toss 5 pin? Nope. I mean, this is that Junchan that Garth is building over there is scary because it does not look like Junchan. 5 of the first 6 discards have been terminals and honors.
Well, the problem is you can't actually confirm it.
You can if you draw a 9 so. Oh well, no, because you could still win on 4
No, you
shows. You're
can't
right,
because you
you're
can
right,
still get
you're
the
right.
4.
Oh my god, what a wait for Taka. 5 mon, 8 mon, 5 mon pwned, 8 mon pwned. 1 8 mon
This is
already
a wait I
gone.
would wait for. This is a wait I would wait for.
One 5 mon left in the wall.
Because who would ever wait on the 5/8 mon that you called both of? Like, seriously, who would wait for that?
Now we see the
Answer?
5
Me.
5 pin
And
discard
also
from Garth.
Taka.
There we
No,
go.
you changed it. Why did you change it?
Of course you change it, Edwin.
リーチ
Oh, there's the Junchan Tempai. It's not confirmed. This is Pinfu Junchan on the 1 so. Taka waiting on 6 mon 8 so. There's only one so left in the wall for Garth's Taka, or Garth's more expensive side.
リーチ
Senpai waiting for
Ooh.
5, 7, 8.
Damien chases, and the
Oh.
7.
If this could be Ipatsu.
Does Taka deal in? You have to play defense, but there's no safe
No.
house. Oh my god! Richie Patsudora. No Ura. But that's not
enough.
It's not going to be enough. You needed the Ura. With 1 Ura, that would have been enough to overtake, but Taka survives. But still, a negative 25 third place is brutal. Damien doing a good job of getting some points back there, though. Ends in the positive. Negative 37.3 is not good, but it's not going to kill your season either. You're still in a good position overall. Garth with a plus 52.6 is going to pretty solidly put Garth into the promotion range. Jai with a very nice plus 9.7 did an incredible job of staying positive there.
As the chat
Wow.
says, still not minus 50, and that's definitely true.
What an incredible first Hanchan from that table. Just like absolutely spectacular.
That dealer Vimon certainly helping out Garth's numbers. 32%
Oh, yeah.
win rate, a 6,400 average win.
Yeah, and with so few hands having been played so far, I look at those are EVs. I thought the EVs were the average deal-ins, and I was like, how do so many people have 1,000 point average deal-ins? But
Well,
there is.
I was just looking at Blaine, and like these are small sample size, like you're saying. A 2,300 average EV for play. You'll
Yeah.
never see that again unless
Yeah.
it's this early.
35.4% win rate with a 7,500 average, winning over a third of the hands, and they're all Mongon. Like, what?
Let's see here.
It's kind of interesting.
They should be getting started here in just a second.
It's kind of interesting in this pool of B3. We have almost, not quite, but almost a reverse correlation between placement and participation rate. All the high participation rates are in the negatives right now. That doesn't really mean anything though. Stats, it's really fun looking at Mahjong stats after a small sample size because they're so wacky, but they also mean almost nothing.
Yep.
Like you could look at somebody with a 10% win and a 20% deal in right now, and that could easily just totally flip to a 20% win, 10% deal in, or vice versa in, for Hanchan. But it looks like this game is going to start in 5 minutes. Do we want to take a brief break until things get going again?
Hopefully. Us announcers can take a break at least, and then if Nathaniel has some other, if we go to the desk with Nathaniel and he can clue you guys in on some of the other games that continue to go on, because like I said, we had almost 9-10 games on the docket today.
So we'll kick it over to the man in the sky, Nathaniel, to see what's been going around what's been. Oh my God, I'm gonna start over. What's been going on around the ARML? And I'm gonna get myself a drink while he does that.
You go ahead, take a break. Thanks, Edwin and Tucker. This has certainly been some exciting games. That last game was incredible. I'm sure we'll be seeing clips of that dealer Baimon in the mid-season highlight reel. We did see more action from around the league. We saw previously the early result from a B2 matchup with the players that you see at the table now. Looks like Christine was the winner from game number 2, and Henry grabbing a second place, and Ryan a third place. And if you look at the graph for that, it is wild. There are just a million manga and Hanuman hands. It seems like that game went on for quite some time with so many repeats. And when all was said and done, Christine ended up being the big winner there. And those are the 2 games that they ended up playing today. We'll see the next 2 games probably next week. In the other A2 table, John was the winner of this one, 41,000, just narrowly beating out Riley, who was pushing for a hand in South 4, but ended up dealing it away 2,000 to Matthias to finish the game. And so John and Riley, though, still doing quite well in this one. And overall in the standings for A2, it is Riley who is just barely positive, and Peter who is right ahead in 9th place. So 9th and 10th for those 2 players. John's climbing up, had a little bit of a rough start, but now is almost out of the demotion range there. And Matthias ahead as well, actually in just barely ahead of John in 14th place. So the game continues. I believe they are finished with the first 2 of their series. They'll be playing 2 more next week as well. The final game of the early A2 matchup that we saw, Andrew, another winner. So Andrew actually starts out this season with 6 first places and 1/3 and 1/4. Incredible start for Andrew in 2nd place overall in A2. What a start. Pio right behind, 8 at 3rd place this game, but in the promotion zone currently. And Vince climbing as well as Andre, both around, in fact, back-to-back in the standings in 11th and 12th place, right in the middle. We saw in another B3 matchup, this was the Group A that featured Jen Barr from the JPML, as well as Alon, who took a big first place here. Alon, who has previously competed in the WRC World Richie Championships and made top 32, a big winner at this table. It looks like we had a substitute take 2nd place here. And Jen seems to only get 3rd place so far. Another 3rd place here with -10.3, and Jocelyn falling behind. I believe they have started their 2nd game. And, well, we can see there's a refresh necessary here, but that one is in progress. The other table, the final table from A1, was Shu, Aaron 2nd, Daniel 3rd, Garrick 4th. This was tightly contested. Aaron was building a Mongon hand to take 1st place, but ended up falling just short as Shu took the final win and the match. So Aaron, 5 first places and a 2nd. In this series, at this table, 3 first places and a 2nd is incredible, and Aaron was the 2nd place when all was said and done there. And I think that's it outside of another A2 match that just started. So, have we heard back from the other table? Have they started yet?
I think they have. Let me just double check here. Yeah, the game should be online soon. And just quickly, that there wasn't a substitute in that game. The another M person is actually Michael V.
Oh, a different Michael. I'm thinking of just M. Yeah, two similar names, both named Michael, but another M is Michael V. So not a substitute. Thank you for the correction there. Yeah, it looks like the second match between Garth, Jai, Damien, and Takahiro is about to start in 1 minute. So let's switch over there.
Hey, it looks like we're back, and we're starting off with an immediate Daisangan chance, huh? Pair of Haku, pair of Hatsu, singleton Chun for Taka. There's the Haku.
ポン
I mean, imagine a call, go for a double Yakahai Honitsu for a cool 12k.
Is the game frozen?
Frozen?
It's been more than a reasonable
go.
amount of time. Yeah, okay. Discarded the 1-2, so holding on to the Dora 7, so pretty easy to make a Mangan, even if you don't get Honitsu, as long as you have Dora in hand. We see Damien on the left holding on to that other Haku. It's a nice safe tile. Doesn't really have much in hand currently as far as value goes, so if anybody starts to look dangerous, Damien won't want to deal in, and there we see the Haku come out. Jai actually has a pair of the Seat Wind South.
Would love the 7, so, or at least just to improve that weight, which is not hard to do.
And there's Tempai for Jai. That's a South 4-pin weight. One of the 4 pins already gone, though.
Well, the 4-pin doesn't win, so.
That is correct. It is Atazuke. You make a you know what, Edwin? You make a good point. That feels like it should be Tenpai for Taka. It is. Waiting on 7 mon. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 8. Hatsu Hatsu.
Doesn't improve his
Sumo.
weight.
Oh,
Well, it doesn't matter.
Sumo on the south. Yeah, Taka was in a great position. If you're able to pawn the Hatsu there, you can discard 6 mon and then have a 2/5/8 weight. But as it is, someone else will win it first. Oh god, Taka's hand. 3 completed melds already for Taka. But Taka's not dealer, Jai is. Jai's hand not quite as good, but it's certainly not horrible. The 1/2 mon, not spectacular, but you already have a Dora 3 so in a nice shape. Very easy for this hand to improve. And that 5 so is definitely good. Now you could even think Itsu in the so. Might be racing an Itsu from Taka though in the Pinzu.
Ooh, you paired up the 1 mon. That relieves the fact that you had the 1/2 to begin with.
Yeah, it really solves that shape's problems for the most part. On the right, Garth has some okay shapes. Has 4 pairs. That 2-2-3-3 is always kind of awkward. Draws a 6 mon to improve the 5-5-6 shape. 5 pairs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5 pairs.
Yeah, but it looks like he's hedging because I probably would have wanted to keep that 9 so for a possible weight, but I think Garth thinking that there's enough there that they could possibly just turn this into a Pinfu type hand.
Yeah, especially since you could turn it into Pinfu Tanyao, you can get Ipeiko with the 2-2-3-3. It'll all be about what tiles you draw before you get your 6th pair. And actually,
now Jai's getting pairs, and he that's not what he needs. But you could turn this into this. Again, there could be like Ipeiko chances, like you mentioned before.
Yeah, is only 2 tiles off of that Itsu and the So. Just needs a 2-So and the 8-So. Kind of an interesting little shape there with the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the San Menchan in the middle, and the 1-So and the 9-So on the outsides. Taka, though, with the Ipeco chances now, a 7, 8, 9 Ipeco, just doesn't have a pair if that becomes the case.
Garth now switching over to Tanya here.
Yep, discarding the pair of 1-So makes sense. Damien called the 2, 3, 4 mod, going for Sanshoku. Can't find the Sanso, though.
Ryan no.
リーチ
That'd be incredible. We see a Riichi from Taka. This is waiting on 6-pin, 9-pin. That is Riichi Penfu Dora 1. 1 9-pin left and 4 6-pin left, but only one of those 6-pin left in the wall to go along with the single 9-pin. That 6-pin kind of stranded in Jai's hand, though. If we see a
Garth
2-So
just throwing
draw,
out that 9-So like it's nothing, despite the fact that Taka discarded no Sozu at all.
We've seen a lot of that from Garth, actually. We've seen a lot of very pushy calls from not Tenpai. Not calls. Very pushy discards from not Tenpai from Garth. That 4-pin might help Jai not deal in, even if Tenpai is reached here. Could ostensibly wait on the 5-pin, but is just playing full safety here.
Sumo.
Oh, and there's a Sumo on the 6-pin. Had the exact same weight. Got to Tenpai. I didn't even notice that the 3-So was drawn. So got Sanshoku Dora 1. And Sumo'd the 6-pin before Taka could. So Damien going to take the early lead here in East 2. Not a very big lead, but an early one. And is dealt a pair of Souths right off the bat. The most callable hand at the table so far.
Garth with 4 pairs, including one of the Dora.
And a couple of Kanchan as well.
Home.
Yep, going for the Toy. I guess you could go for Honitsu maybe, but probably Toy.
Yeah, you definitely keep the... I mean, as we see, discarded the 7, 9-So shape before discarding the pair of 4-So. So definitely trying to play both options as well as much as possible.
Home.
Taka has a pair of the Hatsu now, so that hand could speed up. We see Garth call the 8-pin, discard the 9-So.
And now, like, Taka decided to throw that 5-pin out there, but, I mean, with Garth's discards, you do have to worry a little bit about the Honitsu.
Ooh. This is Tenpai for Damien, 5-So, 8-So. Because of the pair of Souths, it's not Penfu, because the South is a value pair. Penfu, you can't have any Fu, and, you know, the South is
Garth
Fu.
going full Honitsu now.
Yep. Also broke the Apatsu with that chi. Damien does have Ipeco, though. So, Riichi Ipeco for Damien.
Oh my god!
Oh, wow. Hacks. Absolute hacks. Honitsu
And there's
Dora
still 3 in the
for
wall.
Garth.
There's still
All
3 in the wall.
Oh, God. Madness. Oh, boy, I'm sorry. Oh, there's
Okay,
the 8-So,
that's
though.
dealing
That's
in.
going to deal in.
Long.
Riichi, Ipeco, no Ura. You know, I made that comment at the very top of the broadcast about Ura, and we have seen very little of it today.
Jinxed it.
You know what? I have absolutely no issues jinxing Ura.
Why don't you jinx Ura in your own game so that nobody else gets it?
I mean, the last game I played, I'm pretty sure Nathaniel dealt into me for Ura 2 like 3 times, so...
So you have no problem with it.
I had no problem with it. Damien has a pretty decent hand here, has 4 different Rionmen. That's always a good sign at the start. The issue is, around the table, people already have complete shapes. I mean, we see a 6-7-8 Mon for Taka on the right to go with a 6-7 So, another complete shape in the pin. We see a pair of Haku across the way for Jai, as well as a 7-8-9 So. That hand could become Chanta, but more than likely just going to be Yakuhai with maybe some Dora floating the 2 Mon currently. Garth on the left is Ishanten.
If he gets
On
the
a
perfect
7
if he gets a perfect 7 So draw, it would be like Ricci, possible Tanya, Pinfu, throw in a Dora.
And Damien's shapes have improved, but I mean, Damien's still 3 away here. Despite the fact that it's the start of the second row. There we go. Now we have an improvement. 2 Shanten for Damien. Taka's Ishanten on the right. Doesn't want to let go of Dora.
Yeah, would have to discard the Dora.
Discards the pair of 1 pin instead.
That 5 Mon is awkward, and yeah, toss it back. You can get value with Ipeco, but again, you'd have to toss Dora, and you're not really getting a whole lot out of it. There's your Tempai anyways!
Which Tempai do you take? Alright, goes Dama, waiting on 8 pin 8 So. That is Tanya Dora 1 for Garth. There's the 3rd Haku for Jai. Gets it closed. Tempai waiting on 3 Mon. So that is Haku, Dora 1 for Jai.
8 pin.
Uh-oh.
You don't need that.
Yep. Deals into Garth. So Tanya Dora 1 is 2,600 for Garth. Doesn't change any positions. Actually, I guess it does. Garth is in 3rd now rather than 4th. And Damien's still in 1st. I mean, a total of... I missed the number there because of all the other writing on the screen. 5,000 points. 5,000 points separate last and first as we go into South 1. A much different situation than we had last game.
I mean, that wasn't hard to have a different situation than last game.
It should be noted, Taka discarded the Dora South on the first discard. And look at Damien on the left.
It doesn't. I mean, he's even got a possibility here for a 1-2-3 Sanchoku.
Yeah, it can't be 1-2-3 or 2-3-4. It's kind of the beauty of the hand as it is set up currently. On the left, Damien attempting to build a Dai Sangen. There probably goes your Sanshoku dreams if you're Taka. Discards 1 Mon.
Well, you don't have to yet.
Yeah, you can still get 2-3-4 Sanshoku if you pair up the 1 pin or the 5 pin. All right, that's going to be a Honitsu for Damien on the left. That Haku still hanging out in Garth's hand. We don't see... We see 1 Chun discarded, no Chun otherwise. And there's an Ipeco for Taka. A pure double sequence, as it were. Dora South, Dora South.
More likelihood that Garth will drop that Haku with the way the hand's been developing.
That 2 pin's a very nice draw for Jai. Now Ishanten. There's the Haku.
And now it's a full stop. Everybody's full stops right here. It's like,
And a So discard to boot. So, I mean...
Yeah.
Discarding Sozu or Honors kind of feels like death at the moment.
リーチ
Taka immediately discarding the 2-4 shape. Jai, though, is able to wait on Sozu. So takes that Riichi, 6-0, 8-0 Riichi. That is Riichi Nomi. Ugh.
Wow. I guess there's enough of the. I guess maybe they just consider 3 of the 3 so's visible, but 2 was a 1 chance anyways. But you would have had 2 Onko. Doesn't matter. You
Ugh.
still had to deal with a 9 so, and that's just not great.
Yeah, you're probably never throwing the 9-so. And 4-mon doesn't feel fantastic.
Is the 8 so going to drop here? Yeah.
ドン
There it is.
I wondered about that because it's like, would you really discard a middle 5?
Oh, Ura 2! Just after we mentioned the Ura not coming today, it appears.
Yeah.
And that
But
puts
it's just
Jai as the only person above 30k now.
Like, you're thinking about it, it's like, I don't feel like I want to discard this middle 5, so I can discard this 8. At least it's closer to the edge. Should be fine, right? No.
And we're moving into South 2 now. Dora is the 6-mon. Jai can incorporate that into hand. Not the best shapes, but can definitely be worked around here. On the right, Garth has all the wins. 3 of the Norths, 1 each of the others. No Chi. Is this going to become a Honitsu for Garth? Discarding the West first. Honitsu still a possibility.
Probably a hedge.
4 pairs for Damien across the way.
Garth will probably hedge this quite a bit before dropping those 7 pins.
Ooh, there's the Dora 6-mon. Do you drop the East? It's already once cut. It's not Yakuhai. There's a 6-0. Jai, of course, can't call it. No Yaku.
Oh, that's awkward. That is so awkward. I was going to discard the 9 so if you just gave me something other that was useful.
All right, there goes Dora out of Garth's hand.
So now we're looking back towards a possible. Well, Garth can still just declare Riichi, but my guess is that perhaps if they get the chance to go Honitsu.
5th pair for Damien. Ishan 10 for Chitoi, 7 pairs.
Oh, wait,
Taka
Garth
on
is-
the left has a wild hand.
リーチ
There's a Riichi. Waiting on 4-pin.
Tanya Chitoi.
If a 7-pin comes out, it'll be a Nakasuji trap. But a 7-pin has to come out for that to happen, and 2 are already gone. There's an 8-pin.
Garth will probably discard the next one because of that. Just that 8-pin discard right there.
ポン
And
Yep,
the 7 should come out now.
Feels like a decision to push. Waiting on 3-so now. Garth temp high. So we've got Nakasuji. We'll see if anybody drops it should they pick up the 4-pin. There's only 1 4-pin left in the wall. The other 2 are in Jai's hand.
Garth committing to the Honitsu. Especially since the person that declared Riichi has discarded Dora.
Yeah, it makes everything feel much safer.
Is that even... does it make it better? Marginally? No, not really, but it's still
2-so, 3-so.
Oh, it is a 2-3.
Yeah. It's like an extended Kantan. It's like a Kanchan and a Tanki. Oh, there's the 4-pin!
ドン
And it's gonna deal him. So, Riichi, Chitoi, Tanyao, no Ura, 6,400 plus the Riichi stick. That is going to put Damien in second. Garth now in last place. We've seen a couple changes of fortune here in the last couple of hands. The big hand starting to inch out. Garth's final dealership. See what he can do from last here. This is probably the worst set of hands we have seen yet in the last two Hanchan at this table. And even this set of hands is not awful. I mean, there's a pair of Hatsu now for Damien on the right. Taka across the way has an Anko of the 5-so. The pay is Dora up the north.
I think some nice draws here to improve this hand fairly quickly.
If only Garth could open for Tanyao. Another sideways improvement for Taka there. Jai's hand's still a mess.
Now going for the Tanyao. He's got another pair.
There's the Hatsu. Damien does not call it. Considers it, doesn't take it.
You have
and
to
then
take the second one.
Immediately comes out. And now, right after a North gets discarded, Taka pairs it up. Taka Ishanten, as a matter of fact. One East is discarded, one North is discarded. That'd be a very interesting Shanpon weight, should a 6-mon or 8-mon come into hand. Oh, and that 7-so is such a great fill for Jai.
Garth drawing the other 9 pins.
Oh, God. All 4 9-pins come to Garth. There's a 6-mon. There's a Richi. All right, now we have our Tone Pei Shampon. The East, well, I guess, so it's Richi Dora 2, Dora 3 on a North Wind. A North Wind win. I mean, I imagine the East instantly comes out of anybody's hand if it gets drawn. Assuming they don't have Genbutsu. There's an East. Garth pushes it. There it is. Richidora 2. No Ura. But that puts Garth further into last. As a matter of fact, Garth now the only person underneath 30k. Damien with the final dealership. Very much within striking distance of first. First, second, and third. All right next to each other here. Not the best hand, though. You hate to open 2-5-8 in any suit, and that's what Damien has in the Monzu. Pinzu's okay. Sozu, not great.
You know what I was just looking at here?
What?
If Garth somehow Mongon sumos, it would put, what? One person at 30,700, the other one at 29.7, and Garth would be at 29.4, so it wouldn't be enough by not much.
Mongon Sumo would put Garth at 25.4.
Oh, right, 25.4. What am I saying? It'd be for
Hanamon Sumo puts Garth into a negative second, which would be interesting. Actually, that wouldn't even be enough because that'd be 29.4, and Taco would be at 29.7.
Yeah.
So Baimon Sumo is what Garth needs for a major improvement here. But you'd also be fine just bringing Taka underneath 30k. Like, if you could direct hit Taka for 3,900, it doesn't improve your placement, but it'd be 8.9 points to your final total because of Uma.
Although if you
Taka,
are able to hit Taka from Mongon, I think is that enough? 25.4 versus 24.7. So at least I think I can do that math right.
Don't ask me to do math.
I've been trying today, and so far I've failed miserably.
Damien would have an Itsu on the 1 pin, but 3 of them are already gone. There's the 3-mon. Oh, what a draw. Of all things to draw, the 3-so, really?
Yeah, you're imagine drawing the Dora and being able to reach you on the 1-so.
That would be incredible. 1-4-7 pin way,
Gee.
Takame, be Itsu. There is a Chi from Jai trying to keep this first place. Is Ishanten. That's a Pom, surely. Which weight are we going to take? All right, going to take the 2-mon, 5-mon weight. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 visible. Oh, and it immediately comes out of Garth's hand. It did not fit into Garth's hand, and that is going to secure the first for Jai. So after that absolutely bonkers last game that we had a relatively normal one this time. Jai gets a very nice 22.2 first place. Damien with an 8.7 second. Taka with a positive third at plus 2.7. Garth being underneath 30k, the only player underneath 30k, takes the minus 20 UMA hit and gets minus 33.6. Honestly, though, like 33.6 is pretty solid as far as last place go, especially when you're the only person below 30k. I mean, we saw before only one person beneath 30k and they got a minus 30 last place. So people not getting super hard with that minus 20 UMA today. Only getting hit hard by dealer Vaimons.
And for Garth, this is actually his first bottom 2 finish. So, bit of a dent here, but otherwise, the rest of the games have been going well for him.
Yeah, and I mean, everybody at this table still in very good position. Jai's still right there in the playoff zone. Actually, with the plus 22.2, yeah, we'll still be in the playoff zone. Actually, past Garth. Is still in the playoff zone, but past Garth. So, on the edge of the pure demotion zone, Damien and Taka both catching up to Garth and Jai. So, despite all 4 of these players being very close in standings, all 4 of them are maintaining position overall here. So the playoff zone, as we were talking before, the players in 4th and 5th will end up in a playoff to determine who gets to promote to B2 and who stays in B3. If you're in the top 3 spots in either of the B3 pools, then you just automatically promote to B2. The same holds true for 12th and 13th, except that's between B3 and C1. So those are like demotion playoffs.
Well, battle to stay in B3. How about that, rather than demotion playoffs?
I always have to take the negative view of things, Edwin. It's a part of my character. My name is literally on Wii. Look, it's right there on the page. Yeah, but with that, I mean, B3 is this pool A or pool B?
This is pool B.
I mean, this pool is kind of wild right now. I mean, only 8 players positive. It's kind of reminiscent of A2 last season, where most of the players are negative, except we don't have Sylvie, the super sub, in taking everybody's points here. This is just purely how things have shaken out. A few people very high on top, but everybody on bottom kind of splitting the load, which normally would be okay, would leave everybody in a good position, but there are so many spots that are going to fill in that new C1 division that getting out of that C1 zone is going to be a task for sure. It is. I cannot wait to see Session 6 B3 because there are going to be some scrums. Oh, wait, not Session 6, Session 5. Session 5. 5E.
Yeah.
Let's see how the game that is currently going on. When did it start? It's
B3, the A division. Oh. Oh no, but they're in South 4, but they're actually starting a new game. Oh wait, I realize I feel like I'm talking to the void here. I'm actually talking to the director.
Yeah, Nathaniel talks to us sometimes from the ether. Like I said, we are the prophets, and we will speak for him when he is on mute. Actually, you might be able to hear him for all I know.
For all I know too.
Let's see. Why don't we hop into the A2 game and make that the last game of the night? That way we still get more Mahjong, but we aren't holding Nathaniel's computer hostage for
リーチ
the entire night. This table that we are going into for A2 has Philip, Huang, Dustin, and Joshua. We are coming in. Our current dealer is Dustin, who just drew his beloved
Yeet.
3-so, and is going to call Richie on 8-mon, waiting on 5-pin, 8-pin. That is Richie Nomi, with the two-sided way, is chasing Huang, who is waiting 6-so, 7-pin for Richie E. Peiko.
Wait, there's a Suanko here.
Oh god, Suanko is on the left. It's Sananko confirmed, and it is also called Richie, waiting on 6-mon 3-so.
Okay, the 6-mon.
But the weight's totally dead.
And the 3-sos are gone too.
Yeah, the 6-mon is Huang's weight. The 3-so is in Dustin's hand. The 8-pin is going to be the sumo for Dustin the dealer. 1,300 all.
It's like, hey, there's Suanko. No, it's all dead.
That's why I didn't see it at first. I just instinctively knew that it was impossible.
ポン
We see the immediate Hatsupon from Huang on the left. The Haku is Dora, and we see two of those in... That's not Philip, that's not Huang, that's not Dustin, so that means that is Joshua on the right. I had to process of elimination that one. I know all of the other players at this table's handles very intimately. That's a very nice draw for Philip across the way. The pins do kind of messy. That 6, 7, 8, 8, 9, 9 pin shape. Kind of awkward. The 2-4 pin makes it a little bit more manageable, but...
ポン
If Huang calls us, I don't think the Hawk is coming out, especially with that 1-2-3 call. If that 1-2-3 call hadn't been made, the Haku might have come out, but with that 1-2-3 call, it's like, well, they have to have Yakuhai or something.
Even if Joshua didn't call that, I would not be surprised to see Huang greed for the value there. I mean, I feel like Dora Tonki is something that Huang could very easily push for.
カン
There's an Ahatsu Khan! Flips over the Haku's Dora again! And does it immediately! 6 Dora! Joshua waiting on 4-mon, 7-mon. Oh my god! Haku Dora 6. And Huang not folding.
Until recently, but emotional damage.
And there's the 7-mon!
Emotional damage.
And that's going to firmly put Josh into first place here. Dustin still above 30k though, so a respectable second. Oh my god. What a hand we walked into. First we see a Suanko, a dead Suanko Tenpai. Then we see Haku Dora 6. And now I have to pull up Twitch on my computer because it died on my phone, so I can't watch the chat. And I do like to know what's going on in the chat. There we go.
Everybody else was suffering emotional damage too.
Oh boy. All right. I've taken a five turn round of deep breaths, and I'm ready to commentate again. The South is Dora. We're in East 4 here. Josh with a pretty decent hand. The 8-9-mon, the only sticking point here. Still 3 Shanten going into the start of the second row, which is not desirable. Philip on the right has a much nicer hand. Ishanten, possibly Peiko with the 2-3-4-mon. That's Tenpai. That's going to be Pinfu, the best possible draw there. So that's Richie Pinfu, possible Ipeiko on the 4-mon for Philip. Does anybody have a hand worth fighting against this? I mean, everybody can see that the Dora's pretty much dead here.
I mean, Joshua could still technically fight with his hand. The only thing being that because of the few mons who discarded, the 5/8 mon might be the sticking point here. Well, actually, the 8 mon might be a sticking point more than anything else.
7
Looks like Dustin's playing it only Genbutsu so far, it looks like. No, yeah. Only Genbutsu so far, it looks like, but has been developing the hand anyway. There's another Dora. The 3-pin helps Huang if Huang wants to try and fight this. 8-so not safe, does push it anyway. Ooh, another 5-pin. Is that Tenpai? Could call Ricci.
1
Is going to discard 6
Ichi
mon here,
Suji,
waiting on 3
waiting for
mon.
the 3.
This is why you never trust Rishi Chuzi. Oh, well, you know what? Just forget that I even attempted to say words there. 2 of the 3 mon are in Philip's hand.
I was wondering what you were saying. I was like, is this a terminology I don't know?
It was Rishi Suji, but I had like 15 gumballs in my mouth, I think.
The equivalent of Chubby Bunny.
Ooh, there's 4 mon. We see the 7 mon discard. We have 3 mon, 6 mon. Tenpai now for Josh. 6 mon would actually be a double deal in from either Philip or Dustin. Wait, it wouldn't be a double deal in. 3 mon would. What am I thinking? There we go. 3 players, Tenpai, and we will have a repeat here. And with 2 Ricci sticks, there's 2,300 points on the table. Josh in a great position to take them, starting with an Anko of the Haku. Although we do see pair. Con! Flipping the 9-pin is the new Dora. So just starting out with an extra 16 Fu here is Josh. Across the way, Huang immediately pawning the Chun, has a pair of the Hatsu as well.
Who haven't called here are like, please, can I get to Tenpai soon? Please, please, please. I want to declare Ricci for Uradora.
It might be a little hard to catch up here. Joshua not very far along. Gimmick is a little bit closer. Ishanten for Gimmick. Kutsuki Ishanten, as a matter of
Philip,
fact.
too.
Ooh. Could get 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku.
Mm-hmm.
The 7-pin kind of useless in hand right now. I mean, if you draw a 9-pin, are you really gonna discard the 7, 8 shape in either of the other suits? I feel like you'd be more likely to discard 6-pin, 7-pin. That's what I mean. Like you're gonna keep 9-pin, but I'm saying, are you gonna discard the 7, 8 shape in one of the other suits? Well, just discards the 9-pin. If you're gonna discard the 9-pin, I feel like you should discard the 7-pin. There's
now you're discarding
7-pin. All right, so we've got Ricci, Dora 1, and Pinfu. Sanshoku on the 6-mon. None are left in the wall.
Are neatly tucked in people's hands.
Tucked
so your only hope will be the 9.
Tenpai for Huang across the way, waiting on Hatsu 5-so. And that is...
9 is extra. That 9 is extra.
You're extra, Edwin.
Oh. Alright, I'll leave.
I meant extra in like the... I don't actually, you know what? Now that I'm trying to define extra. Oh, there's the Hatsu. It's going to deal into Huang. Huang gets the 2,300 or the 3,300 in the middle now. Plus an extra 2K. So that's going to put Philip in last and Huang in third. So switching positions there. It is now Philip's dealership. The tune is Dora. Joshua starting out with one in hand. None around the table, though. Kind of an awkward start for Philip, but this hand is definitely not bad.
Yeah, I can see that's quick as like some type of Honitsu Joshua. And even that's not. It will take some time, assuming they ever get the tiles for it.
789 Sanshoku.
I mean, you could just say Chanta Dora 2, Chanta Sanshoku Dora 2.
You'd have to discard so many 3-mons. The 3-mons would never come back to you ever again after that. They would abandon you for life. A very nice hand on the right for Huang. Ishanten, as a matter of fact, another possible Sanshoku. A little bit tougher to make that one work this time.
There goes the door. So I guess they're just going to take their Tenpai if they can find it. So I'm not sure why you would keep the extra 8 so otherwise.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Kokushi
6, 7,
account?
8, 9, 10. 10 distinct terminals and honors for Dustin across the way. Needs a west, a south, and a 9-so.
There's a way.
There's a west. 2 away now for Dustin. How many of those tiles are left? There's 3 souths left in the wall, and there are 2, or both of the 9-so are in Joshua's hand. So, I mean, Dustin's Kokushi feels pretty dead at this point. There's another south.
Depends on whether or not Joshua wants to go for a Honitsu, but if they recognize that there's a Kokushi attempt over there,
There it is. Now it's dead. Now, if you're Dustin, do you still push for Tenpai? I mean, it looks like Joshua's going for Chinitsu at this point.
Yeah, you kind of would wish you if you had more pairs, you consider like Honrota Toy Toy or something, but that's even that's far away.
5-so, 8-so Tenpai on the right for Huang, and immediately gets it Dama, Pinfu Tanyao, off of Joshua. Huang winding the gap between himself and Philip, skipping the direct competition's dealer turn. Now, trying to hold on to a dealership of his own. That was a great 6-so draw. 1-so is Dora. Nobody has it in hand yet. Nobody can use it. And God, look at that hand across the way for Joshua. 5 pairs already. Most of them in Manzu.
If you're trying to go for Chi Toy, why are you holding the 5-6 pin? If you're not going for Chi Toys, this is fine.
Discards 9-mon. Wants to assure you that they are not, in fact, going for Chitoy. I would have sold out immediately. I love Chitoy and Akanashi. It's so hard to get value, but Chitoy you can just kind of steal value from nowhere. Although that is a very fast Tenpai for Joshua.
Yep.
Your value only, but 2-mon 5.
The value is ending the game.
I wonder if this 2-mon deals in. Probably not.
Yeah,
oh,
no,
it does.
It does.
It does.
It's like you draw a 4-mon. It's like, oh, that's a pair. Yeah, I can call that. I don't have to worry about the 3 anymore. I can call the 8.
Yeah, but the 8-so was a pair too. I feel like I would have discarded.
The thing is, if you discarded the 4-mon, then you couldn't call the 8-so.
Right, but why not discard 4-pin? That's a San Minchan already. The San Minchan doesn't need the 2 extra acceptance of the 4-pins. The 8-so, you want to be able to palm. The 4-mon, you want to be able to palm. You still want to be able to accept the 3-mon. I feel like 4-pin might be a better discard. I don't know.
It might be, but the other thing could be just like the fact that you drew the. It's more of like a perception thing, like where it's like you had the 2-4, you're like, oh, this isn't great. You draw the 4-mon, so you draw the 4-mon. It's like, oh, I paired the 4-mon. I don't need this 2 anymore. Like as opposed to just like looking at the rest of the hand, and being like, what else can I discard? It's just like, oh, I made this shape slightly better because I can do other things. I don't need this tile anymore.
It is very easy to hyper focus on whatever tile you've drawn. That is very true.
Or that block that you're wanting to deal with.
How many pairs are across the way? All right, there's 4 pairs in Philip's hand across the table. Also a
There's
shot
4
at
pairs to your left.
Shoku. Well, it sounds like everybody's got 4 pairs then. How many pairs are on the right? Just 3. Lame. Lame, Joshua. Huang's got 4. No, Dustin's got 4 pairs. Dustin hates Chitoy, though. Dustin will go for anything other than Chitoy if it's an option. And there are definitely other options with this hand.
Well,
there's the one mon.
Now.
Yep, this is Ishan 10 for Dustin. Right after Philip has discarded one of their pairs, immediately draws another pair. Another 7-pin.
Okay.
Now we're Chitoy Ishan 10.
It's like, fine.
Especially with a once cut Dora in hand, this feels like a much better opportunity for Chitoy now. Dustin discarding the pair of 1-so with the 1-pin draw. And there's Tempai for Philip! Chitoy Dora 2. Discard 4-so, wait on 8-pin.
I can see why you do either, but I think this is right. Even though you can see 2 8-pin to the left.
Hey, we can see 2 8-pin. Philip can't see 2 8-pin. That's a Ricci from Huang. Oh, we.
Not on we.
I see. Yeah, Philip not included in the we. You heard it here first, folks. Gimmick waiting on the 4-pin. Oh, and there it is, going into Philip's hand. No! All the value, and once again,
no!
2 Ura. All the Ura were waiting till the end of the night to come in. Huang now within striking distance of first. A Mongon of any sort would give Huang first.
And Philip is the only one below 30.
Yep. Dustin needs a Mongon Sumo. Joshua just wants to take this hand and win real quick. Very nice little Tanyao hand this is. 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 7, 7, 8, 8, 2, 2, 5, 6. Oh, that's 4 pairs again.
Hut, hike.
You don't need to know suits. There's a 5th pair. I'd almost discard 2 mon. I mean, you keep the same Shanten. And you keep 5 pairs. You don't give away either possibility. If you draw 4-so or 7-so, you're still in a perfectly fine position to open for Tanyao. East is Dora, and 1 is in Dustin's hand on the left. Otherwise, none's seen yet. Huang making careful steps forward. 4-so instantly getting ditched by Joshua. There's another 8-so. Huang now Ishan, is not Ishan 10. Definitely not Ishan 10.
Hey.
Chitoy Tempai. Waiting on Formon. Probably going to hang around for a better Tempai, but this is Chitoy Tanyao.
Yeah.
Tanyao it's not an upgrade.
You've already discarded so many middle tiles, I just figured that you might as well have just ditched the 4, but...
I mean, the 4 is more likely to be drawn than the 2. There's the 4.
Mind.
Sumo.
Chitoy Tanyao Sumo.
32 all.
A very nice win. And that gives some much needed distance for Joshua. And now you actually have a very attainable goal of dropping Huang beneath 30k. Is only at 1200 right now. Get 1000 all, not 1000 all. That wouldn't work. Get 1300 all And there you go. This could be a fast hand, though. It's going to be hard to make it expensive. Hatsu Dora 1, perhaps, for Joshua. We see a pair of Haku for Philip on the right. Philip, though, the person who would least want a fast hand. Dustin would be perfectly fine with a fast hand, as long as he was able to get above 30k, which wouldn't be too difficult. We actually see 5 pairs over there.
I mean, if you're Philip and you need to make an expensive hand, you almost have to discard the Haku out of hand, don't you?
Seems like it. Like, you would think you'd need to discard the Haku, go for Tanyao, Penpu, Sanshoku, Dora. Maybe just wants to end things, though.
Yeah, could just be mitigating damage here, just to be like, there's not really much for me here in terms of trying to come back, and so I'll just get whatever points I can out of here and just get out of dodge.
Yeah, we'll win on 6-mon or 9-mon. Three of those still left in the wall. Ishanten for Joshua.
I mean, Joshua would even be fine dealing in here.
Dustin going for Toy Toy. All triples. Ishanten for Huang across the way. Perfect Ishanten, as a matter of fact. Has a pair, a Ryanman, and a Ryanman plus a pair. Katagiri's the 3-pin. Oh, there's a 9-mon. And that just ends the game. You're fine with that if you're Joshua.
I mean, like I said, you may have wanted to get everybody under 30, but you'll just take this.
So Joshua with a very nice first place there. A plus 34.4. That Chi Toy Tanyao Sumo as dealer in all last, helping immensely. Huang got above 30k, gets a very respectable plus 6.2. Dustin hangs in with a plus 6.5, and Philip takes the minus 34.1. So after the refresh, that's going to put Josh pretty solidly into the promotion range. Is in 4th now. Huang is kind of dancing on the edge towards the demotion range there at the bottom. And then Dustin right in the middle. As in the middle as you can possibly be. From our earlier games, we see Andrew in 2nd and Pio in 5th, as well as Andre in 10th. And where's the other name? Vincent in 12th. So we got to see a lot of A2 action today. Very nice. But with that, I feel like we have covered all of the games that we can today. Any final thoughts after that slate of very exciting matches we just saw, Edwin?
Nope, just fun games to watch. All in all, lots of laughing. I think somebody already clipped me.
Yes, you have. You have absolutely already been clipped. So as you are checking out that clip below on this Twitch channel, be sure to follow us here so that you get little updates whenever we are streaming. If you'd like to know ahead of time when we are going on air, follow us at American Ricci at Twitter. You can also go to our homepage, AmericanRicci.org, if you would like to participate yourself in the American Ricci Mahjong League. Sign-ups for what comes after winter? Spring? That sounds right. If you would like to join for the spring season, sign-ups for that close March 20th. So plenty of time to still get in before then. Maybe if enough of you join, you can start your very own beta league and make Edwin try and figure out how to create a C2. That would be fun. Also, we have hundreds of hours of Mahjong content at tinyurl.com/ARMLYT. If you're just itching for some mahjong to watch, some wild commentary, and maybe even learn a thing or two, that's a very good place to just see a massive amount of mahjong. I mean, you could never get bored watching everything we have there, except maybe of our voices. That you could easily get tired of. For the ARML, I was joined tonight by Edwin. Thank you very much. Thank you, as always, Nathaniel, for your work in the broadcasting booth, speaking to us as if from the void with your wisdom and knowledge and giving us updates on the plethora of games that happened around the league. I am on Wii, signing off for the American Richie Mahjong League. I hope you all have a wonderful night.